Yes, we try.
All right, if you all can take your seats. Good morning.
All right.
Come on, this is like the biggest crowd we have ever had. Come on, give yourselves a round of applause for coming today. I am so excited to be with you here on this lovely, glorious, not quite the end of fall Monday morning, to help you and your team start off the week on a productive and positive note. And we're going to do a little bit of adjusting, but I'm going to do something that most of the folks that know me know I don't do very well. I'm going to take a few moments to brag. Because we have accomplished a lot over the last few years. I'd like to talk about some of the plans that we have. I want to give a few shout outs and acknowledgments, and then get you to work with Darius. Sound good? Lovely. So for over 2 decades, our promise to our clients and our community is to help you and your teams to create more robust, sustainable, valuable, and profitable companies. Entrepreneurs and small companies that they create continue to be the biggest source of jobs in the US, and hopefully jobs that are providing them with a living wage in a wage-oriented economy, which is a critical component to increase prosperity, better health and well-being, both physical and mental, as well as a whole host of benefits to our communities and our families. That being said, being an entrepreneur and a small business person, as I've often stated, is one of the most challenging jobs that exists. Third in my mind to having a healthy relationship with a significant other for any length of time, and raising mostly well-adjusted children who don't require too much therapy after they've left the house. Given that state of affairs, I also believe that it's important to recognize and to celebrate, especially when a leader has been able to create something incredibly robust by putting in place the right leadership team and the right systems so that they are able to pass the torch onto the next group of leaders, whether that's by a transition to a new CEO, a sale with an exit, a retirement, so that the next generation can lead the charge, and that particular leader can give back in whatever way they are being called to do. So I want to do a couple of shout outs. So Ronald Philfellin, president of Sonaro, if you could stand up for a minute.
Really?
Ed Webster from State Transportation, who wasn't able to be here with us this morning because he's out in Missouri, working for his new bosses there, who have both successfully transitioned their companies onto the next platform, buyer, something like that. Sonaro is from Rico and SJ Transportation sold to Waymaster. And the team from Nielsen Kellerman, can you all stand up for a minute? And there she is! And Alex James, who made it in the nick of time. And the folks from TPR NoCo, can you all stand up? TPR NoCo? Oh yeah, you guys too, right? Who have also, are actually in the process of transitioning and growing the next generation of leaders. So congrats to you as well. Can we give them all a round? It has been an honor to work with all of you over the past few years and to watch you grow your companies and grow your leadership. And I wish you all the very best in this work that you have in front of you, because I know none of you are really going to stop working or retire, maybe a little. I also want to take a moment to introduce you to our newest group of enlightened leaders, who launched our 6-month cohort-based Scaling Up Philadelphia program last month, with the financial support of the team at the Economy Wing of Greater Philadelphia. And Rada, can you just stand up for a minute? Thank you. The program is dedicated dedicated to making sure that there's an equitable playing field for Black and brown businesses in Greater Philadelphia by ensuring that local diverse businesses have what they need to succeed. The relationships, the knowledge, the opportunity, including the right operating systems to create a sustainable and profitable company. As well as I want to acknowledge the gracious hospitality and encouragement and support of the team at Episcopal Community Services for hosting us. I just get up for a minute. Thank you. So, would the following teams please stand up? Alpha Transports. Did Atlantic make it? Atlantic IT, I'm just going to go through them. Atlantic IT, Denise's Delicacies, FutureNet, where's Noel? There he is. Electrosoft got COVID laid. The Greater Need, and WC3. Where are you all? Back in the back. Thank you. And can you give these all a round of applause? Thanks. The newest group of enlightened leaders as they start their own scaling up journey. So please take the time to chat with them. I know you already have. Thank you for welcoming them to our community. And for more on any of these companies or their stories, their journeys, as well as access to the tools and the resources that they've used and we use to grow and to be more profitable. As my folks know, we have tons of information on our website at ceothinktank.com. If you want to post anything about today's event, you can certainly use the hashtag CEOThinkTank, our Enlightened Leaders, as well as our LinkedIn and our YouTube channel. So you can follow us there. This is actually being live streamed today, so it will be recorded and will be available to folks to check out later. And of course, we always welcome new enlightened leaders to our community. So if you want to be considered for membership, please let me know. Sound good? Yes. All right, on to the main event. So I still have very vivid memories. I was telling Darius this morning of a snowstorm in February on 2015. And driving on the LIE, that is the Long Island Expressway, for those of you unfamiliar with that absolutely horrible stretch of road, to have my first meeting with Darius and his partner Ali to see if we were a good fit to help them and had the right chemistry. And at that point, they were actually transitioning from Endeavor to now the Money Source. And they had already been using Vern Harnish's scaling up tools and wanted to bring in someone who had experience with it and had expertise. Darius actually was part of one of the Birthing of Giants programs that Vern ran at MIT way back when, and actually had done an amazing and fabulous job of self-implementing, of course with his own Darius twist. But he does recognize when it's time to bring in a coach, and he had reached the point where he thought he needed some assistance. So despite the headache of the journey and the 5-hour commute, we had an amazing session. I really appreciate watching Darius and Ali work. They're one of the strongest partnerships I've ever worked with, and I want to acknowledge the work that they put into making that happen. Darius and Ali and I work together with their leadership team. He does a mean strategic quarterly, and I learned a lot as well from him. And I had the opportunity to strategize and plan and help them revise their plans as they grew from, at the time, a few hundred people on their way to 1,000 people. By the way, they just recently hit their BHAG of helping over 1 million families achieve and maintain the dream of home ownership. And their brand integrity, supported by extremely strong and robust core values and culture, is amazing and awe-inspiring. There's certainly lots that you can learn if you go to therealdarius.com, his family, his favorite foods, his personal core values, and of course his top 5 strengths, achiever being number 1, there's a surprise, followed by 7 influence talents in his top 17, so you got to be careful when you're around Darius. But I'd like to get on with the show. You're going to see some familiar resources today in what he's going to be presenting, but as I said, with his own School of Hard Knocks twist. So here is Darius Mirshahzadeh. Thank you.
Cheryl, best the best. All right. So first of all, today's going to be a little bit of presentation and a lot of working together. I'm going to warn you that I've only done this over Zoom due to COVID, so I realize some of this stuff may not work perfectly, and you guys are kind of guinea pigs, but we're going to get some work done together. Sound good? Awesome. Okay. I'm going to go over the agenda. So everyone stand up. You guys hear me? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, I want to do a quick recentering exercise just to kind of get everyone in the room together. So stand up straight, plant your feet under your shoulders, stand up tall, shoulders back, chin up. Everyone feeling good in your body? Okay. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Let's close your eyes. Take deep breath number 1. Exhale. Inhale, number 2. Exhale. Last deep breath. Exhale. Okay, eyes open. All right, welcome. Grab a seat. All right. So I'm a conscious leader. I'm all about being present. I'm about a C- student, so today I'll be pretty present because I'm running the show, but normally I struggle, like probably some of you all. I want to go through the agenda for today. So we're going to be doing an assessment that I've designed called the frictionless assessment. I've been playing with toying with the name friction-free, frictionless. I think frictionless wins. It says friction-free on your paper. Just disregard that. We're going to do working agreements. I'm going to do a quick presentation on what I believe creates a frictionless organization. Take a quick break. And then I talked to Cheryl Beth about the tools that she wanted us to really work on today. So we're going to do one big tool, and then I'm going to introduce you to 2 others. As she said, I'm born in the school of scaling up, and then I kind of made it my own. So I call it Scale Map Method, which is my version of all the scaling tools. But we're going to spend a lot of time on how do you run better strategics. Maybe some of you have great strategics. I'll be the judge of that. And so we're gonna be working through some stuff, and we'll see where you guys land. Sound good? Awesome. All right. Yeah, I asked Cheryl about coming into this. I do this a lot. Whenever I go on podcasts, I go, what do you rate? What's the rating? You know, I want to make sure that if you're a G crowd, I'm G, I'm R. So pervasive, strong opinions, coarse language, decidedly offensive comments, and some jokes. I can't guarantee an outcome. But you're warned, so if that's an issue, there's the door. All right. So I have a belief, and it came through doing things the wrong way, which is that scale is a friction removal process. So raise your hand if you want to scale your company. Yeah? Okay, most of you? All of you? Yeah, it's a friction removal process. So the more friction we remove, the more we can scale, the faster we can scale, the faster we can generate revenue. And I didn't learn that until I learned it. And so a lot of the stuff we're doing is around how do we remove friction from the system? How do we get our teams to work together better? How do we get our strategy to happen? How do we build accountability? How do we build performance? How do we optimize for that? How do we get that data and take it back in and make it better? Friction removal, friction removal, friction removal. Because what's happening in your organizations is friction's creeping in quietly. And so, again, I'm toying with the name friction-free, frictionless because the reality is you will create a friction-free environment. Maybe some of you will get there, and then it starts to fall apart, and then you got to bring it back. And I learned that we just have to be vigilant. And the only way I know how to do it is through building a system of tools that we can use consistently and make them pervasive in our organizations. So with that said, you guys get to be the guinea pigs on my new tool, the friction-free company scorecard, and we're going to do it together. Sound good? Awesome. So it's new, so I don't know how it'll go, but we'll play with it. All right, so first of all, you're going to score yourself on each question. If you're a company, you need to agree on a score. A 5, so I'm going to read the question out loud, or the statements out loud, and you're going to rate yourself, okay? So don't get ahead, pay attention. Oh, did I get rid of? Uh-oh, something happened. I lost one of my slides. Where'd it go? Oh, no. That's because you weren't deleting. Oh, that's not good. Hold on. Forget about this whole assessment nonsense. Wait a second. We're supposed to do working agreements. Well, let's do our assessment and maybe we'll do working agreements after that. All right. Like I said, this is new. All right, so, oh, there we are. I jumped right past it. Yeah, recentering of friction subs. Working agreements next. Sorry, I've been playing with my slides. All right, so you're going to rate yourself when I make a statement. There's a bold statement and then sub-statements, and you're going to rate yourself on all of them. 5 is that you as a company have or do all of these. A 4 is we do have most of these things that Darius is saying. A 3 is we do have some of these things, and this is like, this isn't perfect, so you got to be honest with yourself. A 2 is we do not have most of these, and a 1 is we do not have any of these. Okay? Yeah, it's up on the board. 5, it's on your paper, it's on the board. I just want you to hear it from me. 5 is we do have all of these. 4, most of these. 3, some of these. 2, we do not have most of these. 1 is we do not have these. Okay, we're not doing these things. We don't have these things that Darius is going to say. All right, so you're going to score yourself, and then we're going to do an assessment. Sound good? Yeah, we're going to go quick, so don't overthink it. I'm going to move you along. So if you're in a company, go, what are we, guys? 4, 5, 4, 4? All right, 4 it is. Go. All right, ready? First question. So statement question. The executive team is a team of rock stars who have each other's backs. It would look like such. And you're going to rate yourself, do you have all these, some of these, most of these? Do not, or none. Members of the executive team know each other's strengths, values, and work styles and support one another when they need help. The leaders of the organization are being developed and built through at least 90 minutes a month of leadership development and executive education. There is a high level of trust in the leadership team where the leaders can have constructive and differing opinions. The team feels safe to disagree with each other from top to bottom and challenge each other and the CEO. All team members feel safe throughout the organization when it comes to openly speaking their minds. And last but not least, the company executive team and middle managers are low drama and do not tolerate office politics. So take a minute, score yourself on this. All right, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. Don't overthink it. Let's score ourselves. What do you look like? Do you got all these? You crushing it, or you have none of them, or do you have some of them, most of them? "30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds." Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Did you all score yourselves? All right, we're moving on. Next question. All right, number 2. Hey, let's pay attention. We're going to the next question. Score yourself. Don't overthink it. All right, you guys know what you are. Just score yourselves. All right, next statement. The statement has established goals for its business for the midterm, short term, and long term. And it should look like the following. The leadership team has agreed on revenue, income, and staff size projections and goals for the next 12, 36, and 60 months or greater. The leadership team has identified a critical KPI to measure to make sure that the company is creating good profit, not just profit, that may be creating a hidden long-term liability for the company. Go. Score yourself. You have 1 minute. 1 minute. "30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time, 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 time. All right. Pay attention. Hello. All right. We're going on to the next one. So when I call time, that means we quiet down so I can move on, okay? We're going to be moving fast. We got a lot of work to do today. All right, going to question 3. The company needs quarterly to build specific and measurable plan and for the business for the coming quarter in order to hit its 12-month goals. What does this look like? The leadership team meets at least once every quarter to discuss the most important projects and initiatives that need to be accomplished in the coming quarter in order to hit its 12-month goals. The leadership team sets realistic but not easy projects and goals for the team to execute every quarter. The leadership team accomplishes at least 80% of its target initiatives and goals every quarter. The quarterly plan has specific and measurable outcomes laid out, including specific due dates. The quarterly plan has specific and measurable outcomes with no more than one person accountable for the outcome. Score yourself 1 through 5. Go. You have 1 minute. Seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. Don't overthink it. Do not overthink it. Just score yourself quickly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right, there's only 10 of these. We'll move fast. Number 4, the company has an org chart that provides strategic value to the leadership team. What does this look like? The company org chart shows who reports to who in the organization and what their specific roles are. The company's org chart identifies roles that have been filled and identifies roles that are open and need to be filled. Number 3, the leadership team has identified and documented the top 1 to 2 hires it needs to make in the next 12 months. And last but not least, the leadership team has identified and documented at least 1 or 2 hires it needs to make in the next 36 months. Ready, go. Score yourself 1 through 5. Thirty seconds. 30 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right, we're almost at the halfway mark. We are at the halfway mark. The company, number 5. Again, don't overthink it, just score yourself quickly. The company has consistent daily and weekly meetings to ensure accountability and strong execution. But what does this look like? Every team member is in a daily huddle that lasts no more than 15 minutes. Every daily huddle has accountability around what needs to be accomplished that day for every team member to have a quote-unquote good day. Every daily huddle allows team members to voice challenges and roadblocks that will stop them from hitting their daily objectives and goals. The management team meets weekly to assess progress against the quarterly plan. That's every 5 days. The management team meets weekly to address issues that are stopping the company from hitting its quarterly goals. And last but not least, the management team rates their weekly meeting a score of 8 or above consistently with regard to its effectiveness and the quality of the meeting. 1 through 5, go. You have 1 minute. Yeah, hey, be honest here. Most of your weekly meetings may or may not be awesome. This is what it needs to look like. Do your weekly meetings look like this? Do your daily huddles look like this? Be honest. 30 seconds. It is what it is. Be honest on this one. 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Time. All right. Attention. We're going to the next one. 5 down, 5 to go. All right, question 6, statement 6. The company has consistent daily and weekly meetings. Oh, I already did that. Did I? Wait a second. Where am I doing? That's a duplicate slide. Sorry about that. Number 7. There we go. This is a long one. Whoa. Yeah, I think I already asked that one, didn't I? Oh, my slides are messed up. Let me see your guys' paper. Oh, here I got one right here. Sorry about that. All right, see? I told you you're guinea pigs. All right, number 6. This one's an easy one. Team members meet with their manager at least once a month to assess their progress and needs. So this one's easy. Everyone in the organization meets with their direct managers one-on-one at least once every 30 days for a minimum of 30 minutes to assess their progress, performance, and needs. You have 30 seconds on this one. Go. Once a month, you meet with your team. 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Don't overthink it. You either do it or you don't do it. 3, 2, 1, time, 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 time. All right. All right, time. You guys either do one-on-ones or you don't. It's pretty simple. Let's move on. Number 7. Core values and purpose are alive and well in your organization. This one's a long one. What's this look like? What does it look like if core values and core purpose are discovered and they're alive in your organization? Well, core values are discovered. Core values have descriptives that are designed and tested for high levels of accountability within the execution and strategic models of your business. Purpose is articulated and all team members know both. Core values is the language of accountability in the organization. It is common to hear people speak in terms of the core values all throughout the organization, all the time. Core purpose is articulated and all team members know both. The company has robust onboarding and an ongoing measurement of core values, core purpose, in pulse surveying and quarterly surveying. Ooh, I haven't done working agreements yet, so you could leave your phones on. All right, where am I? There I am. All executives refer back to the core values and purpose when giving praise and reprimands. HR processes and activities align with the core values and purpose, hiring, orientation, appraisal, recognition. Company rates core values on a quarterly basis and has in-depth conversation on ways to improve the core values in the company. Actions are identified and implemented quarterly to strengthen the core values and core purpose. 1 through 5, you got 1 minute, go. Seconds, 30 seconds. Are you a core value, core-driven organization? This is what it should look like. Fifteen seconds, 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Question 8, statement 8. The organization assesses team members and customer experience on a regular basis. Again, I'll repeat, the organization assesses team members and customer experience on a regular basis, uses this data to optimize performance. What does this look like? Company uses NPS or CSAT, customer satisfaction tool. You may have one other one, at least quarterly, if not monthly. The company surveys its team to assess engagement and proactively roots out problems that may be lurking in the company before they are obvious at least one time per month. Company speaks, not through email or digital surveys, those are bullshit, directly, and has a conversation to understand the customer experience at least one time per quarter. 1 through 5, you got 30 seconds, go. Are you talking to your clients or not? Fifteen seconds. 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. We're moving on. You either do all these things or you don't. Somewhere in the middle. All right. Statement 9. The company has a sound performance management system that it used for accountability daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. I gotta fix that. All right. What does that look like? One or two KPIs are reported at least weekly for each role or person. The company has a dashboard that measures the top 10 to 15 KPIs that the management team is held accountable to every single week. The company measures both leading and lagging indicators to optimize for the highest revenue, lowest expense, and quality of service or product. These are measured weekly at a minimum and are reported on to optimize performance. The team and managers know these numbers and are managed to them. You got 1 minute, go. 1 through 5, what do you score? Do you manage your performance with data? Or are we just guessing and feeling? Seconds, 30 seconds. Does each person have a KPI? Do you measure your KPIs weekly? Do you have a dashboard that you're looking at with your team? Does everyone know what's going on? Are we measuring to optimize for revenue, expense, quality of service? 15 seconds. Score yourselves 1 through 5. Don't overthink it. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last question. All right. You guys, didn't Greg Crabtree come here? So you guys should all score high on this. The company financials are a tool used to optimize the business for success. But what does this look like? The company financials are closed no later than the 15th of the following month. Like the 15th, they're done. Like 16th, you don't get a good score on this. The chart of accounts is clear and correct and tells the story of what is happening in the business. i.e., this is key, you as ownership and management understand every number on your financials, not just the revenue, profit, and loss. I see so many people, what did I make? They don't know anything about it. Last but not least, the ownership or leadership meets at least one time per month within 1 week of closing the books to discuss the 1 through 5 score yourself. everyone's attention. You don't mess with the next part. They're exhausted. What's that? They're exhausted. All right, next one. Let's see how you guys did. All right, so you're going to see on your screen there's a mission score, an accountability score, a performance score, a cultural leadership score, and an overall friction-free score. So what you're going to do is add up number 2. So just do the first one, mission score. Add up number 2 and number 3, divide by 2. Okay? Add up 2 and 3, divide by 2. You should have a score. So the average question number 2, number 3. Just only have one score for each question. 2, 3, divide by 2. Now we're going to go to accountability score. 4, 5, and 6, divide by 3.
Go by 3.
Add 4, 5, and 6 together, divide by 3. Then we will go to our performance score. 8, 9, and 10, divide by 3. This is simple algebra. Okay? Then you're going to add question 1 and question 7 together and divide by 2 and write the score at the bottom. Okay? So 2 and 3 divide by 2 for mission, 4, 5, and 6 divide by 3 for accountability, 8, 9, and 10 divide by 3 for performance, 1 and 7 divide by 2 for culture, and for the last one, add them all up, 1 through 10 divide by 10. All right? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 divided by 10. And that's your overall score. Ooh. That's awesome. That's a good score. You guys doing your work. All right. Raise your hand if you need more time. Raise your hand if you need more time. All right, let's move it. We got to move. Let's move it. Ten questions divided by 10. Yeah. Your average of your overall score. Give me 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds, then we're going to move on. Ten seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Pens down. All right, let's see how you guys did. So, if you scored a 4.3 or above on any one question or the overall question, and we're going to see where everyone did in a second, that is you are frictionless or mostly frictionless in this area or overall. 3.3 to 4.29, you have some friction in your company. There's likely issues stopping you from maximizing your growth. There's fires popping up here and there. You got some work to do. And if you scored 3.29 or below, you got problems. So let's go back up here. All right, if you scored a 4.3 or above, stand up for mission. On mission, if you scored a 4.3 or above, all right. Good job. All right, nice. We got a couple people. All right, we got some people here. All right, let's go. On accountability score, if you scored a 4.3 or above for accountability, stand up. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a show over here. All right, we got a couple groups. All right, nice, nice. All right, you guys can grab a seat. If you scored a 4.3 or above for performance score, stand up. 4.3, all right. All right. Cool, grab a seat. Culture and leadership score, 4.3 or above, stand up. Oh, yeah. All right. And last but not least, overall score, 4.3 or above, stand up. All right. Grab a seat. All right. Yeah, let's go to the bar. So you guys are thinking, I suck. No, you don't suck. Hey, look, this is common. Okay, I told her about them. I'm like, I like doing this because it gets your attention. We all got work we got to do for the most part, except these A students over. You guys are like front of the class, like getting A's. But no, we got work we got to do. Like this is not. I didn't make this stuff up. You know, this is all best practices if you want to grow your company. And if you got friction, you got headaches. So it's okay. It's always a work in progress, but at least we know where we stand, right? So let's get to work. All right. Working agreements. I did want to move that slide somewhere. So I should have done this before, but you know, like I said, I do this over Zoom. I just mute people when they start talking. Working agreements. This is what I expect out of you guys for the day. If you have an issue with this, raise your hand. You are present. Present as in you're here in the room, not in your phone. You are not on email or phone. Hint, leave the room. Get out of here if you're on the phone. Nobody wants to watch you on your phone, especially me. Okay? No side conversations in your groups. Why? It's distracting. So like, yeah, it's distracting. Like, let's pay attention. No interrupting each other. Don't interrupt each other when we start working together. Be respectful. Have an open mind. Be positive. Turn your ringers off. It's distracting. And have fun. We're all here in this room together. We live in a world where there's so much distraction. Be present and get the most out of the day. Work for you guys? Okay, so if you're in agreement with this, normally I make people sign. That's why I have the little X thing. But since there's so many of you, we're not going to do it. We're going to raise our hands if we're in agreement with this, meaning you're going to do this stuff all day. If I don't see your hand up, there's the door. All right, perfect. Let's get to work.
Darius, what's your policy on questions? Do you want them answered?
Oh, yeah, you know what? Like, I didn't put that. If you have questions, raise your hand. I'll jump in, make it quick. But we'll have some time. And I'm pretty available. So even if it's offline or something.
And if you do have a question, we have a mic.
Yeah, if you have questions, let's answer them. Because if you have them, other people might have them too. But if there's too many, I'm going to like boom, 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 get us moving. All right. Well, thank you guys for humoring me on that. I actually self-assessed my previous company that I will tell you about in a second. I was a 4.6 out of 5 on that assessment. And I definitely wasn't that when I started, like nowhere close. It took a lot of time and a lot of brain damage to figure out what needed to happen in the business. I'll tell you guys a little bit about me. Husband, father, lifetime entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. My brother and I started businesses when we were very young. I live in Austin, Texas, and I really have fallen in love with the entrepreneurial ecosystem and being a part of entrepreneurial groups and learning. You know, I'm a learner. My number 5 strength is learner. I'm a voracious learner, and so for me, I did not come upon this stuff like naturally. I came upon it because I was like, man, I have a problem. I don't know how to fix it. And I started my first like big company when I was 25 years old. It was a mortgage bank. Unfortunately, it was a subprime mortgage bank. It was myself and an assistant and a telemarketer, and I grew it to about 150 employees by the time I was 28 years old. And probably when it was about 60 employees, I was like, man, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Like this sucks. I nicknamed myself the firefighter because I had 3 departments in my company. I had mortgage sales, I had mortgage operations, I had mortgage marketing. And there would be a fire and mortgage processing and ops, and I'd go in there and put on my firefighter suit and put it out for a month. I'd sit in the office and process loans and figure it out. I had about 60 employees when this was happening. And then I'd get it all under control. This might sound familiar to some of you. And then I would go to mortgage, all of a sudden mortgage sales would be a blast on fire, and I'd jump in there for a month and fix it. And then mortgage telemarketing would be on fire, and I'd be in there for a month. And then all of a sudden I'd look over and processing was on fire again, and I'd go back to processing. And I was like, man, I really have no idea how to fix this. And it was really frustrating, and it was really tiring, and I was working 80, 90 hours a week. And the business was doing well financially, but I was not having fun. And if you're like, I was like 27 and 26 years old then, and I lived in San Francisco at the time, where I was building the company. And this was back in 04, 05, 04, yeah, 04. And back then, 05, it wasn't like it is now where everyone's an entrepreneur. Especially like you go to San Francisco now and it's like every 20-year-old's an entrepreneur. Like back then, I was the only person I knew who was an entrepreneur. And I mean, this was just not a cool thing to do back then like it is now. And it was harder to be an entrepreneur then. And so one night on a Friday night, I'm laying in my house and I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. And I'm reading Inc. magazine and I see this program called Birthing of Giants at MIT. And it's put on by MIT Enterprise Forum, Inc. magazine, and Entrepreneurs Organization. The only one I knew was Inc. magazine. Like, I didn't know any of the other ones. So I fill out my whole application. I looked, the deadline just passed the week before. I was like, shit. So I hold on to the application for like 9 months, and then I apply and I get in the next year. So in June of 2006, I go to Birthing of Giants at MIT. At this point, my business is about a $6 million business. And I meet Vern Harnish for the first time in my life. And he's running the program then. And this is like, I was his last class. So yeah, I already told you some of that stuff. But yeah, I got introduced to this thing called scale. Like, what are these best practices on how do you scale a company? I didn't know. Core values, like, what are those? I think I have them personally. You know, strategic planning, quarterly planning, huddles, KPIs. Like, yeah, I guess I'd do some of that stuff while growing like crazy. So I got introduced to this stuff, and right away I go back, and of course, like some of you may be familiar with, I bring all this stuff back to my team, and they're like, "Whoa, man, what are you doing?" You know, you go to the seminar, and you come home, you bring something right back. And every year when I go to MIT, because it's a 3-year program, my team would hate it because I was coming home with stuff for them to do. But I started learning. You know, I started figuring out, like, hey, this is stuff like I need to have order in my business. Just when I started figuring out, you know, the company ended up becoming number 40 in the Inc. 5000 in 2007. Unfortunately, I didn't have a full chance to really roll with it because 07, 08 happened. My industry caused 07, 08. And so, you know, when I was at the Inc. 5000 conference, I joked that I was the 40th fastest shrinking company in the United States, which was really painful to be in like a black suit, you know, black tie affair, and you were shrinking. But it was a humbling experience, and I learned a lot. And I left Birthing of Giants knowing that, hey, I have this skill set now that I can go play with. I just need to go start playing with it in my businesses. And so I went to work. I'm like kind of a natural ideator. My number 6 strength ideation. I'm tinkering with it. I'm taking, you know, parts of the core values and making them come to life in my business. And I'm doing scaling up and as Joe about mentioned, self-implementing. And I got better at it. The more I did it, the more it worked. The more I got better at it, the more I realized parts of it worked and didn't work for my business. And basically what I ended up doing, unfortunately, I'll spare you the long story, but the short story was I tinkered for 5 years. And the reason I tinkered for 5 years is because my business went from a $10 million company to a $2 million company for 5 years. But it gave me a lot of time to suck and to play with my new toys. But I got better, like I said. And in 2013, I started a business within a business called Endeavor America. We had a small little lender in Long Island, New York called The Money Source. And it took off. The business grew from 30 to 313 employees in 18 months. It then subsequently grew to 1,000 employees in the next 18 months. Became CEO of the company about 18 months in, became an owner of the company, grew to a $30 billion mortgage bank. It was about $209 million of revenue. This time around, though, was interesting because my first time, when I grew my previous company, like growing to that first 150 people sucked. Like it was painful. Like I said, I was the firefighter. Oh, I remember at 60, I was like, this is unbearable. It got a little better, but still wasn't that great. Next time around, 30 to 313, nothing. A piece of cake. Like it was awesome. I had like 84 ENPS in my company. I mean, we crushed it. It was seriously easy. It doesn't sound easy, but it was. Why? Because I had figured out the tools. I had learned the tools. I had learned how to implement them in my business. Now, I'm not going to lie. Going from 300 to 1,000 in 18 months was less fun. But it was one of these things where when we have these best practices in our business, and some of them were stuff that I've since developed, I realized that I could do it no problem because I was doing the best practices in the business. Collectively, all my businesses have grown about 1.2 billion in revenue, about $250 million in EBITDA. So, you know, I always, when I work with CEOs now and entrepreneurs, I'm like, look, I've seen, like, it doesn't matter what your industry is. Any one of your industries, I don't care. It's all the same. I got to get human beings to show up and do work. Unless robots, any of you guys robots? No? Okay, good. So until we have robots that just do what we tell them to do and don't cause problems, like that's a business. Is we got to get humans to show up and execute on a strategy and optimize for performance. I exited my company in 2020, and since then, obviously a lot's changed in the world. I will tell you this though, the biggest thing I learned, which when I grew my businesses, and that business ended up being 7 companies, and we were a holding company with a bunch of private equity that we ended up deploying it within a couple other companies. But I learned something because I use the same formula for every company. Look, you guys are busy, and the more you grow your business, like we got to get our teams to show up and do the work. And we got the work, and then we got the work for the work, right? And what we're talking about here today is the work for the work. But you show up and you start saying, "Hey, team, I want to do this, new strategic thing." They look at you and they're like, "Really, boss? Like, I don't want to do it. I got BAU. I got business as usual to deal with," right? And what I realized was the only way I can really scale, either scale myself out of having to be involved or scale the business such that it can grow big, is I got to make it easy for my team because they don't want something else hard to do. And I started realizing that Pareto's principle really came into play. About 20% of the stuff I need to get done, that's what I need to focus on. And the other 80%, there's a lot of noise out there. I know you guys probably hear a lot of speakers and consultants if you're in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So did I. It's like, yeah, it'd be really cool to roll out that really complex system, but I got work to do. And if you think that, guess what your team thinks? That times 10. Yeah, boss, like, I don't care about the BHAG. I got work to do. I don't want to go and operationalize my core values. I got work to do, right? That's your team. And they're just being real, like they're busy. Until it helps them do their job better, it's just another chore. And so for me in my business, to get it to a $209 million company, it was like one product. I had 7 divisions, 7 product lines, 3 presidents in my company. How do you manage that? You got to make it easy. Why? Because I want them all doing it the same way. And it's got to be easy or else they're going to vote with their feet. What does that look like? That means they're like, peace out, we don't do it. They'll be like, yeah, boss, no problem. And then they stop doing it.
So you got to make it easy. And I like to use one of the Pareto's principles. So a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing today is really my take on scale and using Pareto's principle and what are the things that you got to do well in order to make it easy. And when you make it easy for yourself and your team, it's really cool. The thing is that once they can see it helps them, it makes it easy, they'll do more. And the more they do it, the easier it becomes. So, for me, I still my company. 2020 comes around, and I'm like, I'm done. I was over it. I was burnt. I just turned 40. I'm like, get me out of here. I ended up selling my company. And my wife and I were like, hey, let's travel the world for years. And so we had a trip planned in March of 2020. We're going to get schools. We're going to go get a house rent. We're going to take my kids out of school in June. We're going to travel for the summer. That was awesome. That was so fun. Yeah. What happened to March? That didn't happen. So I got locked in my house like everyone else in this room. And I didn't have my day job anymore. I was on the board of my company still, like kind of working through my exit. And I'm me, which is like a ravished creator, born out of my mind. I realized I learned a lot about myself. And as I'm sure many of you have. So I've written a book about the equation, which I presented on, I believe, last year to some of you, which is how you want to write that operational value. So I dove head first into my core equation book and launched that, and then I did a bestseller, done with the COVID thing. And then a friend of mine, who actually is how I met Charlotte, Kevin Dom, he said, hey, I have this company that needs a super.
You're interested in talking to him? I'm like, no. Why would I do that? And he's like, no, I really think you could help him. And I said, I'm not doing that, man. Like, I'm good. So I have a conversation with them, and one thing leads to another, and I liked them. They reminded me of me when I was a smaller business. And I was like, you know what? I'll help these guys. But me being me, one turned into 11 in a very short period of time, and before I knew it, I had a small consulting business where I was doing high-growth coaching with companies. I noticed something really quickly, though. I noticed that as I was coaching all these people, I was like, read this book, read this book, read this book. A lot of the books you guys know. I said, but don't do it the way they say. Do it this way. and don't use that tool. Here's my tool, you know. And about, you know, a few months into, my friend's like, listen, man, you have your own system. Just, you know, like quit using other people's systems. You've built your own. You just need to document it. So that's really where the Scalement method was born. These are some of my clients I've worked with. But what I want to talk about today is like, what do the numbers say? Because, you know, there's a reason why most of you sat down. It's not because the stuff I had on the list it's hard to do. It's just you're not doing it, right? And you're not alone. There was a time when I wasn't doing it. And I started digging into the numbers because I really want to understand, like, what's wrong? You know, like, I'm a data person. I'm like a kind of a data file. Like, you got to show me the numbers. And I don't believe anyone until you show me the numbers. And then I want to see the source the numbers came from, right? Like, this is how I roll. And so I want to show you guys some of the numbers because I really, truly believe that once we understand the numbers, then we can kind of fix it, right? Then we can get to work. But the numbers are pretty compelling. And again, I did this over Zoom before, so it doesn't show as well. So some of it we printed out for the table to see. But let's look at the numbers, because when I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs, they're like, Darius, I want to grow a 9-figure company just like you. I want to grow my company to $10 million revenue. I want to grow my company to $100 million revenue. I'm going to create $1 billion company. And so I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. I was just like that. When I was at 200, I'm like, I'm going to $1 billion, you know? And so I was like, I wonder what percentage of companies actually do that. So here's the numbers. About 0.03% of companies hit north of 500 million. I'll go to the next slide. This comes from NICS.com, which kind of documents all this. So Darius, I'm going to grow a $10 million company. By the way, that's what scale is. There's 139 out of 10,000 companies will do that. So pretty small percentage, 0.13%. I'm going to grow a $1 million company. Even that number is small. It's like 7% of companies, right? So 1.39%, sorry, it's 10 million more. 5 million, 237 out of 10,000, right? It's hard to grow a business. Like, what the work that you're doing when you're growing a business is hard, especially as a small business, because you don't have the scaffolding and infrastructure built. It's all like you doing, you know? And people are like, oh, when I get to 100 million, it'll be easier. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like 10 times the problems, you know? You won't even get there if you don't build like the base, you know? And if you do get there, it's hard, you know? But look at it, 10 million or more. Some of you probably have $10 million. I know some of you have more than $10 million companies. Only 139 out of 10,000 of you are going to do that, you know? About 1%. Well, how many are going to grow 100 million? 0.22%. 22 out of 10,000 grow 100 million. Anybody here have a goal to build a $100 million company? No? One? Oh, there we go. We got a couple. Yeah. Yeah, you're in rare air, 0.22%. Anybody have a goal here to build a $10 million company? All right. What are your guys' goals then? Yeah? All right. Well, between? Yeah. 10 and 100? Whose goal is to build at least a $10 million company? All right. Many of you already have, right? So to get up there, though, we're in rare air. It's hard, you know? The billion's like crazy, right? You gotta like, that's hard. And so I started looking at the data. I said, okay, look, it's really hard to do it. Well, what's the chances of failure? Well, here's the data from U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. 2 out of 3, you're gonna go out of business in the first 10 years. You have like a 1/3 chance of making it. You know, that drops over 22 years to 80% go out of business. It's hard. Business is hard. Anybody here ever lose business before? Go out of business? I have. I mean, I shut down more businesses than you probably have opened. Like, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember, it was like a week or two ago. They said, well, what do you do, like, how do you think about, you know, like when you try a new thing in your business, like what gets you excited? I'm like, I just expect it to fail. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I expect everything to fail until it doesn't. I don't care either way. I'm agnostic as to what the result is. I hope it wins, but like, I expect it to not. Business is hard. And we only make it harder by not doing the right things in our business. And for good reason, we're busy. So you gotta make it easy. Let's look at the data though. This one's hard to read, but percentage of SMB owners and leaders who say the following factors are critical, major, or moderate challenges. 59%, both small and medium-sized businesses, say maintaining financial growth. 2 out of 3, maintaining financial growth. We're coming into this, anybody like the interest rate environment we're in? No? Like, I'm worried about maintaining financial growth in this environment. If it's not this, it's something else. 2 years ago, it was COVID. Now it's this. 2 years from now, it'll be something else. Like, well, there's one thing that's consistent, is the inconsistency. You know, the volatility of the economy we're in. It only feels like it's getting more volatile, right? So, well, Darius, why do businesses fail or never grow? I think it's really simple. I think there's 3 reasons. I think it's that we don't have a good strategy or don't know our strategy. I think that's pretty consistent. A lot of people probably have that issue. I think that we lack accountability in our businesses. You know, that we don't have a culture of accountability. That when people say they're going to do something, everyone doesn't make sure it happens all the time. In every organization. If you stood up for 4.3 or above, then you probably have a culture of accountability for your accountability score. If you don't, then you have holes in your game. And performance. Are we optimizing for performance? Are we taking the data? Are we actually looking for the right data and then taking that and optimizing for a performance of accountability to make the strategy happen? I think it's really as simple as that. And I think that people fail to have the right strategy or figure out what their strategy is, create a culture of accountability, figure out what the performance is, and optimize for it. And when we start doing those things, our odds of survival go up. Our odds of success go up. But this is a discipline. And you know, I say this to people I work with. I go, look, the greatest differentiating value proposition you have is execution. The greatest differentiating value prop you have is execution. The reason I say that is because everyone and as entrepreneurs, we get really like hot and bothered. We like want to talk more about strategy and ideation, and we want to really like, oh, let's talk about the new thing. We want to have these great conversations about all these cool products we're going to do. And I'm like, yeah, you guys can't even execute on the ones you have. You know? Like, let's worry about the thing that's in front of us, right? But the reality is that's what's missing in a lot of our businesses are these 3 items. So what do the numbers say? 95% of companies' employers are unaware of or do not understand its strategy. This is from HBR. 90% of organizations fail to execute their strategy successfully. Even if you have it, you don't execute on it. So like, just a piece of paper with crap on it. That doesn't happen. 2016, it was estimated that 67% of well-formulated strategies failed due to poor execution. Good, you got the strategy part right. You can't even execute on it. You can't get it done. 2 out of 3 of you. This is what HBR says, not me. 82% of managers acknowledge they have limited to no ability to hold others accountable successfully. 4 out of 5. 91% of employees would say that effectively holding others accountable is one of their company's top leadership development needs. Yeah, your leaders can't get it done. Darius, you're so negative. That's what the numbers say, not me. 14% of employees feel their performance is managed in a way that motivates them. 86% don't. 26% get feedback less than once per year. Wow, that's really going to grow them. 21% feel their performance metrics are within their control, and 40% feel as if their managers holds them accountable for their goals they set. Why don't we have culture of accountability? That's why. 70% of employees feel their managers are not objective in how they evaluate their performance. And it comes as no surprise that 70% of employees don't feel they're living up to their potential at work. Our teams aren't getting what they need. They don't show up. They don't execute. We got a bunch of mediocrity. Why do 2 out of 3 companies go out of business? I don't know. Regular feedback. 7% get it daily, 19% a few times a week, 27% a few times a month, 28% a few times a year, 19% once a year or less. We're not giving our teams enough feedback. 67% of workers say excessive meetings keep them from getting their work done. And why? Because 55% believe that they have insufficient time. We have meetings for the sake of meetings. I like this Dilbert one. This is around performance. You need a dashboard application to track your key metrics. That way, you'll have more data to ignore when you make your decisions based on company politics. Will that data be accurate? Okay, let's pretend that matters. And look, this is a caricature, right? But the reality is, we've all dealt with this at one time or another. We've all had leaders like this creep their way into our organizations. Hopefully some of you don't let them stay. But this is what it feels like when Darius says, do you have a performance management system? It's like this big mathematical maze. It's hard. There's this word in Japanese that I fell in love with, which is shibui. Has anyone ever heard of this before? Patrick Gill, don't raise your hand because you know this. It means that there is complexity and simplicity. There is complexity and simplicity. How can we make this simple so it happens? There's complexity in Look, I was just like every single person in this room. I got introduced to these tools. Had you done this assessment with me 15 years ago, I would have been a 0 or a 1 on everything. But I got curious, and I got aggressive about fixing it. And I learned scaling up, and I learned EOS, and I learned all the other stuff, and then I started playing with it, and I figured out that there's got to be an easier way. So this goes back to what I was talking about before. You know, for me, I think that there's some amazing systems out there, but I got to make it easy, or else my team won't do it. And if they don't do it, it doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, I can't build on it. And if I can't build on it, then I'm frustrated. And so when I started working with my clients, like I said, they said, Darius, you got your own system. And so I really kind of simplified everything. And so we're going to be playing with some of the elements of Scale Map today. What time is it? How long have we been sitting here for? An hour? All right, we're going to keep going, and then I'll give you guys a break in a little bit. 9:40? All right, we'll get there right when I get to this part.
I want to get to a couple questions before we...
Yeah, let's do it. So, yeah, look, like I looked at all the things I'd learned and realized that I kind of changed everything and made it my own. So Scale Map really comes in 3 parts. There's mission, accountability, and performance, which you guys have already been introduced to. We're going to be working on one part of mission today. We're going to be working one part of accountability today, and we're going to be working on one part of performance. What I am going to do is take you through it really quickly just so you understand the context around what each piece is. I believe that our team needs to know where they're going. RISE targets are how we get there. That's part of our system. It's a very simplified strategic map, essentially, of where are we going in our 10, 3, and 1 year. We are going to be working today on our WOI assessment and 4x4 growth map. And what that is that's my method on how do you build a strategic plan. I think that most companies suck at building strategic plans and are not good at holding their teams accountable to it, and then they get mediocre results. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do this today. We'll be spending some time. You guys might think, I have a badass strategic plan. It'll be great. I'll get to poke holes in it. So I can promise you that. So we're going to be spending some time on that today. On accountability, I'm not going to go into the meetings. I have 3 parts to it. Rule 1 org charts we're going to be working on. I'm just going to give you an overview of the tool so you can take it back to your organization. For those of you that have done scaling up, you guys have the functional accountability chart. This is my version of that that I think does a little bit different. We're not going to talk about the meetings. This is all Scale Map stuff. But we will be doing Rule 1 org chart. We'll spend some time on that. And then I'm going to introduce you guys to a tool that I call a 5-question pulse survey. Again, I want things to be easy so they happen. So how do we measure for performance? We have a couple ways we do it. One's 5-question pulse survey. I'll teach you guys that tool, give you guys the methodology around it. And then, you know, but in my system, we have a 3x3 KPI list, which is how do you build KPIs, because I think most people struggle with how do you build KPIs. And I have a very simple formula on how I do that. And then C3P&L is part of it, which is do we have clear financials? But this is all part of my macro system, and people that want to learn more about that, I have a training I could send you to that you can check it out. But today we're going to be doing 5-question pulse survey, Rule 1 org chart, and we're going to spend most of our time though on how do you build strategic plans, which I think is very relevant for right now because we're heading into year end. Any questions?
Yeah, any clarifying questions or questions you want more information on?
My book is called The Core Value Equation, and that's how do you operationalize values. It's all the same stuff though. It's like you got to make it easier, or else it won't happen. But so I'm a core value evangelist. The core values do a lot of the heavy lifting for you.
And you can access the core value equation webinar that Darius did for us last year on CEO Think Tank's website. If you do go into the drop downs and go under guest thought leaders, you can access it that way.
So yeah, like I'm gonna just touch on this really quickly. You know, when I look at strategic meetings, you know, what it's funny because I've now gotten the chance, you know, Cheryl Beth has gotten to see me do my strategics, but once I started getting clients, I would go sit in their strategics. And I was appalled. You know, it was the first time I was ever doing it as a consultant, not as the person running it. And so I would say, like, this is like what I think of when I think of strategic meetings. Blah over blah over blah. Nice Venn diagram of it. And, you know, and so I really, you know, I thought, like, what's the objective? The objective is I want to build a badass strategic where things get done and people know there's accountability around it, and where people are clear on what needs to happen and we're working on the right stuff. And what got me to that point was really, well, I'll tell you guys a quick story, and then we'll break if we need to. As I was doing a strategic in 2017, and I mean, when you grow from 30 to 1,000 people in 3 or 4 years, like there's a lot of you're changing your executive team a lot. People are not making it. They don't make it. Rich Manders, who's a friend of ours, told me as you double in size, you lose about the chances of you keeping your team if it's quick is about 50%, unfortunately. And so
Again, please.
as you double, he said basically be prepared to cut half your executive team as you double in size. Now I doubled 3 times, so that happened 3 or 4 times, unfortunately for me. But what I was sitting in a strategic, and we used to have these huge things where so many objectives and so many initiatives, and it looked awesome on paper. And what I'd see is they would roll, like the really hard projects would roll, like well, that's been on here for like 5 quarters, and then it fell off. And so fast forward 5 quarters later, and there was this new initiative, and I'm like, I haven't seen this before. This new executive team, by the way. I've seen this one before. I grabbed the secretary. I'm like, hey, we'll go pull the strategy from like 10 quarters ago. I said, go pull the strategic from like 5 quarters ago. And basically, they had rebirthed one of the old initiatives that had been on there for 5 quarters and died. And I lost my shit. That's the technical term. And I realized there's something broken here, and I got really intentional about how do you build strong strategics from that point forward. So everything I can promise you, every single thing you're going to learn here is because there's 10 ways of doing it, and I did the 9 wrong ones first and landed on the 10th because there's no other options. Everything I teach is that. I did it all the wrong ways. I've been you. I've been every single person in this room at one degree or another. So this is not academia. This is not a McKinsey project I worked on. This is like I got my ass kicked and figured it out. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Any questions?
Any additional clarifying questions? Not
All right. All right, great. Well, why don't we take a quick break? We're starting sharp here at 10.
Okay, starting sharp at 10.
Like be here, be ready to work.
Be back. There are
lag.
restrooms that way and that way.
Perfect.
Easiest ones are that way.
Okay.
I'm close to 01 on your thing. After 25 years, do you have any hope?
How big is the firm?
Like, we're 18 people.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. 01, you mean as far as like scoring? Well, some of the stuff is probably like it depends on how long have you been this size for?
Well, for quite a while. I mean, I've been between 15 and 25 people in the past 10 years or so, between 5 and 8 million revenue.
Yeah, I mean, like if it's a business like fairly like growing slowly or like flat.
It's grown slowly.
Yeah, I mean, like when you grow slow, it helps. Like it makes the pain less pain because it's kind of like people just know like where everything is. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what your goals are, right? If you're like, hey man, I really want to like pull myself out of this and make sure there's no problems, and a lot of the stuff is best practices.
Yeah.
But at your size, like, are you really involved?
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Too involved.
Yeah, so my guess is you're filling the gaps by you're plugging all the holes just by having to be involved. And so, like, if you want to eliminate that, you got to do this stuff. So, like normally when people are small and they're like, well, I've never really experienced a ton of pain, it's because they're the ones fixing it. Or they're like, you're a presence, so your presence just kind of like it's like osmosis. Like, it comes in through you, it comes out through you, but like, it requires you. Like, if I said, hey, like, just take 3 months off from your business right now, like, don't check in, would the business be better or would it fall apart?
It might hang together, but
Yeah.
they need me still.
Yeah. So this is all about how do you operationalize like the company, so it doesn't require a you.
Yeah.
Because right now it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Way
that's my
too much
guess.
for sure.
Yeah. So no, mine's like no. I think that like I think this is just around disciplines.
Yeah.
Like, can we build the disciplines for business so that you can say, hey, I don't want to be as involved. But like a lot of these systems are very cumbersome, which intimidates people. And so my perspective is like, no, this is about making it approachable and easy so that you can do it easily and your team will do it easily.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when people feel like it's that they would do it. And I
They'll
think
do it.
They look at it and think, well, I think it would be easier.
Yeah.
This one's more clear.
Yeah. And there's a kind of an order in which I teach to do it. There's a prioritization. It's like I'm going to show you a couple pieces today, and they all kind of build on each other. You know? But yeah, no, I don't have. I'm like, look, this is just. I don't know how to run a business the other way. If you were a 2-person shop, I'd be like, you don't need this. Like I'm running a small consulting practice. I don't do a lot of that stuff now because my team's like, I'm the product. You know, it's like there's like the team's just supporting me. If I want to have 10 consultants and a team behind them, I wouldn't know how to run a business. Like, I would because I don't want to be involved. Sorry, I need to say that. I don't want to be involved in anything. Outside of me showing up doing stuff like this and working with CEOs, I'm not involved in it. And my team does their own best practices, which are pieces of my stuff. But I don't want to be involved. I don't want to do work. Like I want to build a company that doesn't require me.
Yeah.
So this is all part of that.
I would love that, but I just feel like that ship has sailed.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because like if you do it well, you have an asset. It'll like recruiting companies are professional services companies, so it's not going to sell at a huge multiple, but like no, it's probably dependable EBITDA, and if you can Darwinistically, if you're not the one running it, now you have an asset. You can probably sell it if you want. I would think of it way differently than I would. If I was you, I would say, I want to exit. When do you want to exit this business?
5 years.
Right. 5 years from now, I want out. I would start working on this now intentionally so I could create an exit. That's how I do it.
Well, that's what I do. I do that because I can't just.
No. This is an exit strategy. I always tell people the same things you need to do to scale are the same things you need to do to remove yourself from the business. Or identify. There's nothing different. Because you're depending on systems to run the business, not you. So I would quite the opposite. Because if not, then it's going to be really, you won't sell it for much. You'll sell it for the book. Like, what's my book of business? It'll be like 1 times revenue or something like that, as opposed to 4 or 5 to 6 times EBITDA. There's whatever that difference is. Or you're like, I'm just going to shut it down. And I'm like, why do that? You've worked this hard. Like, and this stuff makes life easier. You just got to do it the right way. No.
No, I messed up. I said I'm like a 0 or 1. Should I just leave now?
No, I said this is our exit strategy is building this stuff. Cool. Well, I have the opposite opinion. Is that this is that I would view this as an exit strategy personally. Yeah.
Well, it's from here to there. How do I figure that out?
Yeah, it's hard to. So I think that's where you need a professional help to work there. Because like I mean, if I always tell people I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna say this, but I don't fully mean. I'd murder someone to have me teach me when I was like you. I'd be like, who can I murder that Darius and
I'm figuring out the voice. I understand.
like because like, and that's just like, but forget about me. Any coach that knows this stuff, I would murder me to go make that happen because it's like what it took to figure this out was super crazy. I meant to everything I say. I mean, I'm like I learned this by doing it all wrong, and then finally I was like, there's nothing else to do. I'm going to try this other thing, and it's like, oh, shit ton of work. I hired coaches and read books and went to seminars. I'm a learner. I went out and learned, and then I didn't like that system, and I tried a different system, and I merged the two together. So it's a lot of work. But it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be easy. Yeah, some of it's more important at scale. Like even that list, like some of that's like, it's hard, it's easier to do than you think. Like if you do one thing, you get all 5 of it, right? But I'm spelling it out of what it looks like. Say, look, like, and at 100 people, maybe 5% more is more important. But there's complexity and simplicity, right? You got to make it simple. Doing strategics, having a weekly meeting, assessing your clients, assessing your internal team, making sure people are on one. That's fine. Well, I was seriously the 5 things, and having a strategy. Why was that? Like, did I overwhelm everybody? Yeah, that's fine. Cool. You got a second, actually? How do you think it's going so far?
Good. Yeah, that was the only tweak was people, we always call that's the throw up list, right?
The what?
The throw up list. Like.
Oh yeah. Well, I just
Someone
wanted them. I just
wanna come
like to
back.
get their attention.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good. I think your vulnerability is really helpful. So.
Yeah. How's my performance overall?
Just make sure you're you're speaking at an even tone. I mean, this is pot kettle because I have a tendency to drop my tone.
Oh, is it because of like the mics?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Just
wave at you.
alert me with.
That,
Um,
I did. Like,
yeah, that was
that's why
good.
I said that. And then,
Outside of that, how's my read on the room and everything?
I think I had a couple people come up and tell me they were really, really enjoying it, so I'm taking that as a good sign.
Okay.
Cool. And I always, I think it might be helpful to before we come back, let me just do a couple takeaway, what they're hearing, so you get some feedback.
Yeah.
Like if we do a couple takeaways from the first part, and then you can go back to the 5 things that you just said to Don.
Yeah.
Launching into
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll say, hey, listen, don't get overwhelmed by the assessment.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you get your warm and fuzzy side on, that's helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Is that okay? And
Yeah.
if there's anything else, I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done this live, so some of the stuff's new. So.
I know, you said when you did Core Values webinar that you wanted to do it live, and here you are.
Yeah. I mean, you see, I like being live, but yeah.
It's really interesting what you're saying about how, going through this as a journey of, doing these different different operating systems, and then learning from your mistakes too. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating.
Are you guys doing scaling up?
Yeah, we're scaling up, and I actually laughed when you said I come to something like this, and you come back to the team with all these ideas, and everybody scoff at you. I feel like my whole last several years, it's fucking awesome idea, and then
more work.
everybody's it's just like a wall.
It's more work.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, yeah, boss, sure, and then they won't do it.
Yeah.
Or they'll do it and they'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
I live that. Yeah. It's got to be easy.
Yeah.
Scaling up I like scaling up's one-page strategic plan.
Yeah.
Left side. I like titles from it. Those are the 2 things I like. And then obviously introduction to EHAC and stuff like that. EOS, I like parts of L10. And then when we go through Rule 1 org chart, we'll see there's elements of his scorecard and face combined. It's just a more intuitive tool. Plus some of the stuff. But yeah, my takeaway from all this stuff is you don't make it easy, they won't do it. And there's an order in which you've got to operationalize it. I'll be talking more about it, but it's you got to build momentum and muscle memory with this stuff, or else people won't do it, or they'll do it and they'll stop doing it. And you can't scale until it gets institutionalized. So what ends up happening, what you're talking about, people come back, they're like, I got this speaker, and let's try this new thing. Well, we haven't even fully baked the thing we already rolled out last time. And it's because that thing was not designed for very well. Most of these are not designed that way. I think it's design issue. Even core values, I mean, most people don't know how to, like my book, I don't know if you've read or heard my book, but it's all about how do you operationalize values, and it's about design. All this is design. My scale's like around design. How do I design it for my organization? And I just got really like intentional about making it easy. And you got to make it really easy, and it's got to be like, there's no fat, there's no complexity, the team understands it, it's really intuitive, one thing leads to the next. And as you do that, because you're not going to roll out like the 9 things I just showed, you're rolling out one of them. When I'm coaching people, I'm like, don't even touch any of those. Like, I'm not like, don't touch any of those until you get that perfect, and then we'll do the next. And it all centers around your strategics. A really well-built strategic plan is super important because that's kind of the heart of the business. And then you can start building on top.
Did you bring any books here to sell?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna lie. We can fight on that.
Okay.
It's like it's wherever book.
What's it called?
Well, this is not a book. That's the core value. The core value equation is my book.
Okay.
This is like my operating system. So I was like deciding this week. I was like, I think I gotta write this down. Nice time done.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I've just been teaching it. Yeah.
I feel like for us core values, we have those down pat. Like we with those and live them, breathe them.
How many do you guys have?
7. A little too many. We tried to like pack some of them out of there.
I bet you could combine them, 1 or 2 of them.
Okay.
But yeah, I would suggest, are they like themes or are they like design? What are they?
It's like be a pro, have fun, work safe, work smart. So it's like that kind of stuff, and so we'll like articulate all of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've always that was like an easy one for me.
My argument is you have too many of them.
I would agree.
Because people won't remember them.
Yeah.
Especially if they have like multiple words on each one, like your headers are like that. Brain can remember about 9 to 11. So whenever I've done this with people, like when I look at their 7, like those 2 are similar. Like that's part of that, depending on what they are. But it's always I'm pretty critical of people's values because I want as you go from 100, let's say like if you added a 0 to your head count, 1,000 people, would they be able to know that? Right? Yeah. And usually the answer is no, because they're not designed to be remembered. There's too many of them, right? And then it's like, well, the goal here is to get people to do them all and be able to manage to do that, right? At scale.
Yeah.
So that's my critique is always around there being too many.
Okay.
Like Vern and I debated this. And he's like, no, Darius, it's like being in a fraternity. You gotta it's like knowing your fraternity songs. And I'm like, dude, tell that to my line level employee doesn't give a fuck. You know, like they're not gonna learn it. You know, and if they don't learn it, it's not a lot. So I'm always critical of that. But it's the same principle as this, which is if it's easy, we'll do it. If it's not easy, it's work for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want more work. I want no work. I want to just build a huge badass company and like sell it and keep it.
Yeah.
I don't want to show up and have to do more work.
And so your consultancy is really circled around the value stuff or more operating system stuff?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, I don't. Everyone says what you say when I'm talking about values. They're like, oh, we got great values. So like, what I realized is no one buys values. It's hard to sell values. They'll buy this stuff, and then I'll do core values. Now, bigger companies will pay for it. So I do both.
Okay. Are you working with other clients or anything?
Yeah, I do.
You have a card I could take or something?
You know, I don't, but at the end of the presentation is my email, where I can exchange information.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
All right, I'm enjoying this so far. I mean, this is really neat.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make you guys enjoy it. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, my
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Ollie, Ollie, income free. Ollie, Ollie, income free. If you guys
Everyone grab your seat. We're going to get started.
grab a seat. If we can get started. We're starting. So as we're getting started, I
I wanted to get a couple of takeaways from the morning so far. I thought that would be great feedback, so Darius can get a little bit of feedback on how he's doing so far or what you're learning. Can I get a couple of volunteers to raise their hand?
Let's get started.
All right, anybody else?
I like the efficiency.
Like the efficiency? What other takeaways? You feel like a failure? Ed feels like a failure. And you're motivated. We've got a motivated person back here. Taking action. Does that mean you're motivated to take action, Andrew? All right. One more. All right.
Oh, Cheryl, it's great to be in person and network.
Yay. All right. Can you reassure them now?
Yeah. Cheryl Betts, like, she wanted me to look. I don't mean to overwhelm you guys, especially the assessment had a lot of stuff, right? She said we call that the throw up list. You know, I meant what I said. There is, you know, simplicity or complexity and simplicity. So we have to make this stuff easy. Like when I built ScaleMap, it was about making it easy. And one of my clients is actually in the room, Patrick Gill, and so he's, you know, and I don't know, if Patrick, are you averse to like kind of talking about how my thoughts on rolling stuff out? Yeah, do you mind?
You want to tell you my story?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Patrick's actually experienced how I think about rolling stuff out firsthand for almost a year now.
Yeah. So I met Darius in February, and by the way, we rated ourselves a 2.8. So I got a lot of work to do. I wish I would have taken that survey like 6 months ago, because we probably were at a high 1 or 2. So I've definitely improved. But one area we've really improved is accountability. And I just want to make sure, what direction do you think I can give the team that's going to be most helpful about our interaction?
I think it's just about like, and now let me just say this about Patrick. He runs a fairly good-sized company. They've done stuff in the past to let for quote-unquote best practices. And when we started working together, I was like, look, there's a way to do this. There's an order in which you do this. So it's really about not getting overwhelmed by all the stuff. Really about like the way this stuff kind of comes to life in the organization. As you've seen it.
So first of all, from like a mission and a core values standpoint, we had core values. Darius had them throw them out. We had too many. They weren't well operationally kind of integrated into the company. So we're redoing our core values, which is probably going to be a 9-month process. And I agree with Darius in that it is a little bit overwhelming, but we haven't implemented everything. We've started with, all right, are we having the right meetings? Now we have 15-minute huddles. Now we have 30 every 30s with managers. Now we have, we're steadily building every piece. We're working on our KPIs. We're working on every layer of this, much of which was asked about in these questions. But we're 25%, 50% there on some of these things, but I do think that we're going to come out on the other side of this thing, and after 12 months of going through this, a much stronger, better company. And one thing I'll share is I'm an idea guy. What's one of my top strengths? Strategy. I want to grow, but I also realize that we suck at growing. We fail at our projects. We're always late. We're over budget. I got to get better at executing before I try to put fuel on the fire. So that's what, and Darius and his team have helped me pretty grounded to, all right, let's get the core basics right. If we can't do basic plays and score goals, if we can't get that done, then how are we going to start to win championships? And that's kind of where we are. And I appreciate all that you've done for us. And we got a lot of work to do, but we're getting there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really, like, I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed by this. This is a process. Sorry, I'm like talking into mics. It's a process to do a lot of this stuff in your business, and you don't do all of it together at the same time. I was at Ryan. I was talking to earlier, and I said just now, and I said, like, the team he was talking about how his team gets overwhelmed, right? And I did this to my team too, and I said, look, it's because you go back and you bring everything to them. To build scale in the company, there are some basics we got to get done. Today we're working on the most important one, which is how do we build good strategy? How do we strategize with our team to build a strategic plan once every 13 weeks so that we have something to work from? That's the heart and soul of you growing your company. 13-week sprints, 5-day sprints in between where we meet to have accountability around the 13-week sprint. Do that 4 times a year. You know, how many of you guys are doing that effectively right now? Raise your hand. That's basic. I don't care about any of the ideation. When I hear people start talking about all their cool ideas and stuff, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Because it's a waste of time if we're not blocking and tackling. The heart of this is, do we have a good strategic plan? So today I'm giving you guys my best stuff, which is how do you have a good strategic? You're going to go into your year-end planning. How do you do that? If you're not doing that, I don't care about KPIs. Don't even mean anything if you don't have a good plan. It's like you're like measuring something that doesn't matter because you're wandering aimlessly running your business. You're being reactive. You're not growing a business. You have a really, really, really painful, crappy job. So, sorry. I've had that job. I've had that job a bunch of times. I don't want that job, and nor should you. So let's get right on our strategics. Sound good? Yeah?
We're 25 years old this month. We've never done a strategic planning meeting in 25 years. And now I've done 3 of them, and we'll do our 4th in the first quarter. And I think it's going to take time, but fundamentally that's going to change the trajectory and the momentum of our business. And I would have had no idea how to run a strategic if it wasn't for a framework from you on how to do that. And I sucked at the first one. I got better the second. We're getting better and better and better. So it's a huge part, I think, of planning out growth.
Yeah, thank you.
And for those of you that are doing scaling up with us, one of the reasons that we give you such a hard time about things like management accountability plans is because this is the work.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so excited that Darius is talking, because you're going to hear some similar stuff.
Cool. Let's hop to it. So blah blah blah, right? That's most strategics. So I'm going to teach you guys to learn how to run an effective strategic meeting. Well, first of all, what's the goal of a strategic meeting? Like, why do we have them? And I just said a moment ago, it's what do we need to work on in the next 13 weeks to make sure we hit our 1-year target? Because I have these 1-year goals, which you should have in your business, right? So I could hit my midterm and long-term goals. It's just taking that one bite of the elephant at a time, but you got to take it in those chunks. So really, that's the goal. As far as I see it, it's like, hey, let's build a plan on what we're going to hold the team accountable to over the next 13 weeks, and let's do that every 13 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to give you some best practices. Whoa, I turned off my ringer. Hey, I mean, I did that intentionally. There we go. Turn off my phone. Whoever that is that can wait. All right, so I do strategics a little bit different. And again, there's complexity and simplicity. I'm about making it simple. You could dress it up around the stuff I teach, but really I'm going to teach you the heart of it is how do I get the plan? How do I extract that right plan out of my team and myself, right? I do a process called WI assessment. I'll be going to that in a second. First and foremost, though, and I'm just going to touch on this very quickly, is, and I think we put a guide in there for you, is, you know, we need to decide who attends a strategic meeting. And what I find is a lot of times people will try to make it like a team build, and it's not, okay? And you'll know that the wrong person's in the meeting if they're not contributing. So I have a tool in here that kind of walks you through how to assess if someone should be in the meeting or not. I recommend you do that. I don't want to dive too much into it right now because I really want to teach you how to run the meeting. But I think a really important part of running strong strategics is around putting the right people in the room. And what you don't want to do is bring someone into the strategic and then kick them out later, because then you hurt their feelings. So just don't invite them to begin with. You'll hurt their feelings a little bit then too, but less than if they actually come to one and get asked to leave after. And I've uninvited a lot of people to learn the hard way. So we want to make sure that we're careful of that. You could use the tool. I believe it's in your packet, and you can assess who should be in your strategics and who should not be. The biggest thing is this: do they own parts of what's getting done? Are they going to own the accountability? Strategics are not about like ideating about the future the way some people do that. That's a different thing. Strategics is around ideating about what needs to get done and then building the plan to get it done over the next 13 weeks. That's the way I see it. We can build some strategery into that if we want to think about 10 years from now, But I don't view that as what the quarterly strategic is. The quarterly strategic is about planning the next 13 weeks out so we can hold people accountable to it, to go get it done, to build those bricks in the business and the scaffolding so that we can not have a crappy job, right? All right. So I hate SWOT. Maybe I should change the slide to say that. I hate SWOT. I think SWOT is useless. At least two parts of it are, the S and the T. Why? Because like, how's that helping me? Just if I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm good at. It's just like this massage session with my team where we talk about how great we are about something. That doesn't help me figure out what's broken. So I do W, I do O, and I do I. Weaknesses, opportunities, and then last but not least, importance. I want to prioritize. And what I find is people tend to kind of jockey for what they want, not necessarily what's right for the organization. So the process I'm going to teach today and what we're going to be doing, you'll see some W's and O's and I's all over the place. We're actually going to go, we're going to play, I'm not going to talk about playing poker. We're going to play a hand of cards. We're actually going to do a little bit. We're going to build a project plan today. So how do we do this in the groups thing? How do you want to do this?
So the companies are going to be, companies that brought their teams are going to be working with their teams, and you can pick, if they're smaller teams, you can pick one of the chart pads over here. If they're bigger teams, we've got a little bit of spread out room over on this other side. And then there's also, we have smaller yellow stickies, so if there's maybe only 2 of you or 1 of you, we can give you a couple of small Post-its and you can work at your table.
Yeah, great. Okay, so what
But
we're looking at,
20 of these.
So really what we're doing is a brain dump onto these stickies. What are our weaknesses? Just call them out. What's stopping us from hitting our goals? And in a formal, so we're going to play, but informally what we would have done is I would have figured out with you your 1-year, 3-year, and 10-year goals. And then we'd say, hey, what's not happening right now that needs to happen in the next 13 weeks so we hit our 1-year goals? And what's the weaknesses? What weaknesses are stopping us from doing that? So we're going to start, we're going to do weaknesses, then we're going to do opportunities, and then I'm going to show you how to build themes from them, because those things by themselves don't create the projects. They show us what areas of the business we need to focus on, okay? And then we're gonna actually build a project plan. Sound good? All right, so you guys need to grab your markers. We need 1 team captain per group. If you're a solo, you can do it by yourself. Small teams over here, big teams over there, and then wait for my instructions. All right? All right, let's get in front of our big stickies. Pick a team captain if you're more than 1 person, and grab a marker. All right, some of you guys are sitting at the tables. You can use the worksheets in front of you as well. So you could use the boards or use the worksheets. I prefer the worksheets just so you get some space to work with. All right, so I need your attention. We're going to start now. Hey, everyone's attention. All right. I'm going to give you 7 minutes. Do not, listen, 7 minutes. It is, right now, it is 10:16. At 10:23, yeah, you're going to go to page 5 if you're not working on one of the big stickies on the wall. Page 5 is where, and you can, and it's the same instructions on the screen. Okay, you're going to write down every weakness that can affect the business in the next 12 months. What is every weakness? A weakness is something that's going to stop you from being successful. okay? Every weakness. If you need more paper, we got more paper. You come grab it. You have 7 minutes.
Darius,
Yes.
internal and external.
Internal, external, anything that's going to stop you from being successful. I'm agnostic. Internal, external is the same in my book. Your external customer's experience is a reflection of your internal customer's experience. So you got 7 minutes. Every weakness, go. You have 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Every weakness that's going to stop you from hitting your goals in the next 12 months. In your control, out of your control, in the company, doesn't matter. Three minutes. Don't overthink it. Don't debate it. Just write it down. It does not matter if it sticks or not. 3 minutes. Two minutes, 30 seconds. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and we will be pens down. Two minutes. 2 minutes. Pens down in 2 minutes. 1 minute, 30 seconds. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Get it all out of your head. It does not matter if it sticks or not. We're just writing everything and anything down. This is a brain dump. One minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute countdown, 1 minute countdown. Thirty seconds, 30 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Pens down. Need your attention. Pens down. Pens down. Attention, please. Pens down. All right, we're moving on. All right, we're moving on. All right, if you're working in the workbook, you're going to be on page 6. Okay, we are going on to opportunities. What are opportunities? If weaknesses are what's stopping us, opportunities are things that we can go embrace. They're the positives. They're those things that we can go do. This is Darius letting you ideate. What are the cool things we can go take advantage of in our business right now? That's an opportunity. So write down every opportunity that can affect the business in the next 12 months. What are opportunities that can help you hit your goals? You have 7 minutes. Go. Five minutes, 30 seconds. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. What are the opportunities that are going to take you to the next level? What are situations you can take advantage of, lean into in your business to grow the business, to make it better, to make it more efficient, to remove friction from the system? What are the opportunities that are priorities to you, are most important? These are the ones we want to focus on. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Hey, Cheryl Beth, can I get the mic? The mic? Yeah, I don't want to keep leaning over that thing. All right. You guys hear me? What opportunities are you going to take advantage of to take your business to the next level, to grow your company, to hit your goals in the next 12 months? 4 minutes, 15 seconds. 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Four minutes, 15 seconds. What opportunities are out there for you to take advantage of to hit your goals in the next 12 months? 4 minutes. Three minutes, 30 seconds. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Don't overthink it. Just throw them down there. Don't overthink it. Just throw them down. 3 minutes. 2 minutes and 59 seconds. 2 minutes, 59 seconds. What opportunities are you going to take advantage of to hit your 1-year goals? Two minutes, 30 seconds. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Let it all out. Pour out the brain. Get every opportunity on the board. Every opportunity on the board. If you're done with opportunities, go back to weaknesses. 2 minutes. 2 minute warning. 2 minute warning. One minute, 44 seconds. Oh, yeah. Minute 30, minute 30. Keep them coming. What's every single opportunity you have to take your business to the next level to hit its 1-year goals? Every single opportunity you can think of. Minute 18 seconds. 1 minute, 18 seconds.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Don't be shy. Write them all down. Get them out of your head. 1 minute, 2 seconds. 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning when I call time. Pens down. 1 minute. 1 minute. Thirty seconds. 30-second warning. You have 30 seconds left. 25 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Time. Time. Pens down. Pens down. Pens down. Pens down means mouth closed. Pens down, mouth closed. I got to move on to the next stage. Come on, everybody. This is the hard part we're coming up to. So I need your attention. All right, attention, please. Quiet. All right, thank you. All right, this is a little bit more complicated where we're getting to right now, so I need your attention. All right, so you're going to circle, choose, and rank your weaknesses and opportunities as outlined below. You're going to circle your 5 or 6 weaknesses. If you only have 5 or 6, then pick 2 or 3. But you're going to circle your 5 or 6 weaknesses. Again, if you only have 5 or 6, pick 2 or 3 that you would like to work on in the next 12 months. Do the same for opportunities, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the importance. You're going to circle them on your sheets, and then you're going to transcribe them onto the importance sheet, okay? We're going to combine for commonality and redundancy, and we're going to arrange them in order of importance. Any questions? So it's up on the board. You can read it, but you're going to circle. Yeah. So you're going to circle your top, just the most important. So top 5 or 6. If you got a bunch. If you don't have a bunch, pick 2 or 3. What are the top 2 or 3, top 5 or 6 weaknesses or opportunities? Circle them, transcribe them, merge them for commonality, and rank them in order of importance. Okay? Any questions? You have 7 minutes. Go. If you have questions, come grab me. I'm happy to help. This is a little bit complicated to do in this setting.
This is it, basically.
Yeah, so you're gonna pick your top couple on each one, the most important things. Don't do that. Circle them here first, then transcribe them. So you got to pick them on each sheet, and then right. So you're gonna pick like probably 2 or 3 on each one. Well, I would write it, but I would. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, just what I would do is rank these first, then do the I last. Yeah. Rank them, circle them. So you should pick a couple on each one. There's the most important ones. We're trying, and then you merge them together on the I, and you rank them in order of importance. Okay. So circle them first. Pick the most important opportunities and weaknesses first. Then you move them onto the importance second. Okay. Hold on one second. Five minutes.
She doesn't have an operator. As the CEO, she is the one who's more like visionary. And that like really is.
Well, yeah, if that's a weakness, then that's gonna then that I would just. But what I would do is pick in there the ones that are most important. I would pick 5 on each sheet, and then transcribe them. And if that's not on there, it should be on there. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Pick your top most important weaknesses and opportunities, circle them, and then we are going to merge them and rank them on the importance tab, on the important sheet. Pick your most important weaknesses, your most important opportunities. You can't have all of them. The ones you want to focus on over the next 12 months. Circle them and then move them over into the importance page and rank them in order of priority. Three minutes, 45 seconds. 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Once you circle them, we're going to merge them over and rank them in order of priority on the important sheet. Again, we're going to merge them over onto the importance tab, importance page, rank them in order of priority. Two minutes. Sorry, is that 3 minutes? 3 minutes. Don't rank them yet. Circle them first. Rank them second. You are not building your project plan yet. You are not building your project plan. Do not start assigning yourself work on the importance. It's just, we're just looking for the areas of the business that you want to focus on. That's it. One minute. Circle and rank on the importance. Circle and rank on the importance. 1 minute. Again, we are not building our project plans yet. We are just picking the areas of the business that we want to focus on and ranking them in order of importance. 1 minute. 1 minute. "45 seconds. 45 seconds. Make sure you're ranking them in order of importance. Number 1's the most important. Number 2 is the second most. So on and so forth. Where there's commonality, we want to merge them together. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Time. It's time. All right. Pens down. Eyes up. Mouths closed. Pens down. Eyes up. Mouths closed. Time. All right. I need your guys' attention. All right. I need your attention. All right. So what you should have a list ranked in order of these different things. What we're looking for are themes, right? So an example of this, and I wrote some examples, they're both in your sheet on page, I believe, 9. And on the board is, what are the themes that are coming up? So an example would be a revenue producing activity that you came up, that you ranked, would be growth. If there's something around people development, that will be training. If there's something around better processes, that's going to be operational excellence. People projects will be cultural optimization. Better data is going to be data and reporting. If there's tech is tech. We're looking for themes, okay? So what I'd like for you guys to do is look at your board and see what themes came up, because you more than likely only have 3 or 4 themes that are up there, even if you have 8 things on the board. So let's theme them out right now. I'll give you guys 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You can make up your own themes, I don't care, but I'm looking for common themes that we're going to bucket, because what's going to happen is we're going to work on one theme today. So what themes came out of your list, of your importance list? Okay? You should end up with multiple themes. Go back. Yeah. All right. I'll give you guys, let's call it 3 minutes from here. Come up with your themes. What themes came out? I do not want specific projects. I do not want specific issues. I want to know what theme. If anyone is confused, raise your hand. I will come help. Good job. A theme is probably not accountability. You can do that, but show me which one, I'll tell you what it is. When I know, where is it on there? Point at the thing that you're calling accountability. Oh, its own thing is accountability. That, yeah, I guess you can do that. So you want to build accountability in the business? Why? What part?
Roles and responsibilities, follow through with the work environment.
No, I understand that. So what I would want you to do is say, because you can only do so much in a quarter, which department do you want to work on with accountability? What's the most important? Is there a part of the business that needs it first? So that's probably going to be like operational excellence or practice excellence. That's probably what that is. I'd focus on that, and accountability will be a part of it. See what I mean? Yeah, we call it manufacturing. It's that. Maybe if you use practice excellence, or it's going to be something around that. If you're helping, people with therapists. Okay. Again, we're just looking for themes. It's not specific. We're going to be working on one theme today. 1 minute, 30 seconds. 1 minute and 30 seconds. What themes are coming out? These are the things we're going to be working on. So you guys should break these into themes. So like hiring would be growth, Internal management implementation would be operational excellence. Training's L&D. Alignment and vision. I don't know. You could leave that. That's probably culture. Or, semiconductor sector is what? Yeah. You want? There's a reason we're doing this. Yeah, so a theme would be people. So right people. Yeah. We're doing something with this. So, yeah. That might be a project within there, but I want to go up a level. What is that? What is this whole thing, right? It depends. I mean, internal management implementation, is that hiring or is that on process? So that would probably be operational excellence. Yeah, so that might be like your supply chain, and that might be operational excellence. So again, we want to like group them together and figure out our themes. Cool. 1 minute. Again, we're just looking for our highest level themes. Okay? Yeah, where are you guys? Where's your?
We didn't write it down. We were ranking it.
Yeah, so like this will be people.
Yeah.
So you might write people up there if that's your number one. Your number two is key man risk. That's risk management. Service delivery model bench is going to be probably operational excellence. Client for sales target accountability is growth. Complex service offering. You got to group them because you have too many.
Yeah.
But you got to group them and then do what I'm doing right now because they all level up to something bigger, right? So complex service offering is going to probably be like product, customer downsizing, that's growth, untapped potential, I don't know, nimble, that's operational excellence, profitability is nothing, maybe that's finance, aligned leadership team is operational excellence or leadership. All right. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. $20 seconds. 20 seconds. We're looking for those big themes. What are the big themes? If you need more paper, come grab it. What are the big themes we want to work on? So again, we're looking for those big themes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Time. Pens down, hands up, mouths closed. Time. Pens down, eyes up, mouths closed. Time. Guys, I need your attention. We're moving on to the next part. Come on. There's 120 of you and one of me. Let's keep it down. All right. Ready? Okay. You should now have a few themes. Okay? And they don't need to look exactly like this, but we're looking for the higher level. When you tell me something specific in there, like hire more people, that's growth. Okay? Because you might have build the bench on sales. That's growth. You know? You might have train the team and build a university. That's going to be L&D. I want the highest level theme. Why? Because we're going to build a project. You're going to pick one of your themes, okay? And we're going to be working on that next. All right, so you should have written down your themes, 1 through 4, number 5, and again, that's page 9 in your workbook. You can just see it on there. Page 10 is going to be where we write down our top 4 themes. I don't want more than 4 themes. If you have more than 4 themes, get rid of 2 or 3 of them. 4 max, 5 bonus, okay? Why? Because people start working in all these different directions and then nothing gets done. You get to pick maximum 4 and 5 is a bonus. That's like if you're a total badass. It's like this table, they can pick 5. All right, so pick your 4. If you have more than 4 themes, you get pick 4. Pick your 4. I'll give you 1 minute, pick your 4 themes. All right, pick your 4 themes. All right, everyone ready? Everyone pick their themes? Maximum 4. Less is more in my world. There's complexity and simplicity. All right. Again, we're going to identify up to 4. Okay? Ready? Let's go. All right, we're going to build a 4x4 growth map, okay? So we're going to play a hand of cards. You guys are going to see what it's like to build a theme out. What projects are you going to build? So I'm going to talk to you about that, okay? So, hey, you guys, hey, listen, if all you guys stood up when I did the 4.3 thing, you guys do whatever you want, but that's not the case. So you got to pay attention. All right, what is a 4x4 growth map? A lot of what I find when people are building their strategic plans is they either have too little or too much, okay? And we want to get focused. The reason we do WOI is we want to figure out what's really important to the business. Why are we doing themes? Now we know the 3 or 4 areas we want to focus on. Then we're going to build a project plan of the things that need to get done over the next 13 weeks, okay? So what does a 4x4 growth map look like? I've talked a little bit about this. We did our WOI. The company meets 4 times a quarter. We build our growth map so that we know what we're working on over the next 13 weeks. I'm going to walk you through what this needs to look like, okay? I actually think everyone should sit down in their seats really quickly because I want to run through this, and then we're going to come back to our boards, okay? So everyone grab a seat. All right, so everyone grab a seat. I want to give you some of my rules. I don't have many of them, but I'm strict about them. So everyone grab a seat, and I'm going to show you what you need to have in your strategic plan. So right now, you all should have up to 4 areas, themes you want to work on. Now, you might have a bunch of projects and stuff that fall under there, but what I don't want to have, let me ask a question. Does anyone, and if, don't be embarrassed, I really want to know this. Do any of you feel like you have too much stuff on your quarterly plans that you're working on? Anybody? Anybody have that issue? Really? Come on. Okay. Most people I find, especially people that do quarterlies, have too much. Anybody feel like they don't have enough? Well, if you don't do a quarterly plan, you definitely don't have enough, right? So it's usually one or the other. That's a common thing I see is that we build these plans and they either don't get done because there's too much on them, or we don't have a good plan and we're not moving the ball forward. So the goal here is we're trying to figure out what's the most important things we need to work on and get done over the next 13 weeks, okay? And the reason I say 4x4 is like, I don't only want 4. Maybe I'll let you have 5, maybe if you're really a rock star. But I want 4 areas of the business you're gonna focus on, and I want you to build plans. And there should be really no more than 4 items under there. Because what ends up happening is this. If you start to let everyone have a free-for-all, people will pick what? What do you think they'll pick to work on if given the choice? Easy stuff. Oh, I'll do this easy thing I was gonna do regardless if it was on this paper or not. That's said every single person in your company, right? And then you end up getting to the end of the quarter, and the really hard thing that you really wanted to get done, what happens to that? Nothing. It rolls, right? Anyone here ever have projects roll to the next quarter? Yeah, all of you, right? You don't need to raise your hand, I already know, right? That's common. Oh, it's not my fault, boss. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's your fault. It's the CEO's fault. You own it. It's your company. So it rolls because we don't have the right systems built to get it done. Right? It rolls because we're focused on the wrong stuff. It rolls because our team is not good at building project plans. It rolls because we don't know how to set due dates. These are the problems you all have. I had. I know it. So how do we get around that? How do we fix this really big problem? And it takes practice. Let me just say, you are not going to leave here and build badass project plans. You're going to build better project plans from here. So first and foremost, I love parking lots. Okay? I say the parking lot is the only thing that's allowed to be creepy in the company. What I mean by that is I let things, if I know things aren't going to get done, but I want to remind us that they get done, I put them there and then it's just there. And we look at it. It looks at us, doesn't talk. It's creepy, right? A little weird. But yeah, I like parking lots. So when we have stuff, we're like, man, I really want to work on that, but we just don't have enough bandwidth, put it in the parking lot. That's where things live. You should have a parking lot in your meetings. You should have a parking lot in your quarterlies. You should have a parking lot in your yearly. That's like the stuff that's like, I really want to work on that, but I can't. Parking lot. And it just sits there, it shuts up, and it looks at you. All right. I use what I call SMARTA analysis, which is my ripoff of the word SMART, like SMART goals, right? So I'm going to tell you what SMARTA is. When we build our project plans, you will pick a theme, one of your themes, and you're going to build a few things you're going to work on for the quarter. They have to have some very specific things. I use SMARTA. I want a specific project. What is specifically going to get done? Not hire 10 people. Fine, hire 10 people. Line up 25 recruits. Boom, 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 boom. I want specifics, right? They need to be measurable. Not like get more revenue. I see shit like that, I like puke in my mouth. Like more, the $1 is more. You know? Have higher score. It's like, what does that even mean? Like, it needs to be measurable. I want specific, I want measurable. What are you specifically going to create in your business? It needs to be attainable, right? Like, you need to actually be able to do it. If anyone here writes they're going to build a university in their company, you're out. Like, that's like an 18-month project on a good day. Whenever I see that, again, puke. So it has to be attainable. Like, you're actually going to get it done. Okay? Realistic. Like we're able to do it. It's realistic. We're actually going to do it. And then the last two are different from SMART goals. Deadline and accountability. I want everything needs to have a due date. No due date, it doesn't exist. And what I hate when people do on quarterlies, and this is like a good cheat sheet, the last day of the quarter is not the due date for everything. That's bullshit. Tell me when you're going to get it done by. Oh, it's like 12/31. Everything. We have a big party on 12/31, 3/31, 6/30. Yeah. No. When are you going to get every single thing done? Give me real dates. Get good at figuring out when you're going to get things done. Oh, by the way, you can't miss it. Right? And how do I do that? We get good at it. It's a muscle we got to build. So I want specific due dates. And accountability. If you put 2 names on there, put 0. 1 name. I need a name, I need a due date, and it needs to be specific. I want SMARTA to happen when I'm building my plans. So you'll see on my plans, it's like, you know, I'm going to use this, even though I hate it, university. It's like, go research LMSs, due on the 10th. Pick 5 LMSs that we want to, you know, do deep dive on. Present to team, do like 120, 130. Present to the team. I want step-by-step what's happening with due dates and who's doing it. Spell it out for me. And then we're going to put it in, I like Monday.com. You could choose what system you want. I put that stuff in the system, and then we manage to it on a weekly basis. Why? Because that's how shit gets done. Okay? So, again, the object is to build an effective quarterly plan. Use SMARTA. You guys have all this stuff in front of you. We want due dates. Key concepts for building a 4x4. Projects have to get done. Okay? There's no rolling. I say like 10, 15%, and it's because like something totally was out of our control, and you can prove it without a shadow of a doubt that it wasn't your fault, right? Projects have to get done. You got to ask yourself the question, are you committed to, and is your team committed to getting it done, right? The reality is this, your team's busy. This project you want done is more work. So you have to factor that in. Well, Darius, like things roll because we get caught up with this other thing. Factor that in when you're building your plan. Get good at factoring in all the things that are going to happen. Get proactive, not reactive. Guess what? I know things are going to happen. Factor that in. I hate when people don't do that. They're like, well, we didn't know. I'm like, yeah, of course you didn't know. Factor in what you don't know that you don't know. Build yourself some wiggle room. Okay? Unexpected things are going to happen. They're going to derail you. I know that. Pick real dates. No sandbagging. Talked about that. Don't bite off more than you can chew. It should be slightly hard. When people brag to me that they crush their plans every quarter, I'm like, then your plan's weak. You know, it should be hard. You should barely, I want to stretch to do it. And then I should celebrate when I hit it, okay? And don't include business as usual. I call it BAU. Like, and what's BAU? BAU is stuff that's going to happen no matter what. Like when someone puts stuff on there that that's like in their job description, I'm like, really? Yeah, please.
Everybody else has something like this right now. So we're a manufacturing company. We do electronics. You might have read about microprocessors in the news. They suck. We essentially, the brains of every single product that we make, we will run out at the end of January. So right now, my entire engineering team is working on a switch to a new micro. That's sort of BAU, but we also have no choice. It's the only.
Because it's a one-off. So because it's a one-off, that's not BAU. If it was like we have to order, forget about like supply chain being screwed up like it is right now, right? Or the microchip thing. Let's just say it was like normal, and they're like, order 25 microchips per week. It's like, well, you always do that. I don't want to see that on there. Like this is a real issue. Yeah. Yeah. If yeah, that's on the plan. Yeah. No, it's important. That's not BAU. BAU is like I'm just doing my job, right? Like regular stuff, like that's your responsibility. The goal here is for us to have projects above and beyond BAU that get accomplished to move us up, right? Any questions on this?
Can you speak to the small, but when you're smaller, sometimes what would appear to be a BAU is actually putting a system in place to help you with growth.
Yeah, so like, again, don't bite off more than you can chew. Like, I'll do multiple things. I might even manage BAU in the same system I manage my projects in. I just call them what they are, right? I manage everything. Like, you can't hide in my businesses. I think we had a task management system that had like 98,000 tasks in my last business. There's no hiding. And it's not because I want to micromanage people. I just want shit to get done. And I want people to know where the lines are, right? So it's okay to put BAU in there for task management. I'm not talking about task management right now. I'm talking about what's the one project that needs to get done this quarter that's outside of the daily grind. What's the 4 projects, if you can handle that in that one area? For bigger teams, it might be 32 projects, 6 per 4, or 8 per 4 area. You have 4 areas, you do 8 projects, if you can handle it. What I don't want is people sandbagging. What I don't want is stuff that's not going to get done. It is a skill set to learn how to do this. And it takes time, and it takes discipline. Any other questions on this? We're going to play a can of cards. So don't. I mean, you're going to do it. So I'm just talking about it right now.
What about projects that span multiple quarters? Right, so we have a fair amount of those
Yep.
that, we traditionally have tried to just chunk it.
Yep.
Where we say this is the part of the milestone we want to accomplish, but is that?
Yes, that's it. So if you have like a 18-month project, what needs to get done in the next what's the piece that needs to get done now over the next quarter so that we can move to the next piece, stage 2, so that eventually we finish stage whatever, right? What I don't love is people put these really big projects and they don't chunk it. So that's the best practice, and you guys, it sounds like you're doing it. Any other questions on this? Again, we want to get very specific. We want to hold people accountable. We want the team to learn how to do it. It's usually a bloodbath when people first start doing this. They're not good at it. I expect that. We'll see where you guys land on this today. A couple other key concepts. I really, again, for bigger teams, I might go outside of the rules here, but this is kind of a rule of thumb, is I allow for a maximum of 4 projects per theme and initiative. So if your theme's growth, pick 4 projects. Because the minute we start adding more, I'm telling you, your team will cherry pick. You will cherry pick the easy ones. I would rather you get 2 hard ones done than 4 easy ones that don't move the needle, okay? If I get 1 to 2, if they're the right 1 or 2, I'd rather do the 1 or 2. But again, no more than 4 projects per, and I really don't like to see more than 4 themes. And again, I say it here, it's better to accomplish 3 big hard projects than 16 small projects. It's just, if it's gonna move the needle is what I'm caring about. And really, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, do not overcommit. What it does is, the biggest issue with overcommitting is it undermines the accountability of the company, okay? It creates a culture that lacks accountability. Oh, it's okay for us to roll projects here. We always do that. Does that sound like a culture of accountability to you? Of course not. It's unspoken. Your team sees it. They know that I can cheat. Dad doesn't care, right? Like, it's not that we, like, and we don't do this intentionally. It's that we're like, oh yeah, they got busy. I'm telling you, this is a discipline. This is a muscle you have to build in your organization. And it's by people knowing that, hey, when we put it on paper, we do it. And there's a discipline to us getting stuff done. And that is how we build a culture of accountability. That's one of the things that needs to happen. It's the first step, in my opinion. All right, we're gonna build a project plan. How's that sound? Yay. All right, so you're gonna pick one of your themes. I'm gonna give you 25 minutes. Do we have time for 25? Are we good for that?
We're probably 20.
20? Okay, let's do 20. Yeah, because I still gotta get through 2 more parts.
Yeah, I know.
Am I running over? I really want to get through this. I'll move on fast on the other stuff. All right, so I'm just going to have to move faster on the other stuff. Let's do 20 minutes. Okay, that means you guys got to, when I say call time, we got to sit back down, and then we'll see where we land. You're going to pick one of your themes, and you're going to try to build a project plan for it as far as you can get. If you get through 2 projects, great. Use Smarta. If you have questions, raise your hand. I can come and kind of point you around. Any questions on this? All right, you got 20 minutes. Go. Pick one of your themes, and you're going to build the projects for it for the quarter. Pick one of your themes. Just one. So growth, pick what are the 3 or 4 things you're going to do this quarter. Yeah. We need a new piece of paper to do this. Okay.
So these are the major areas.
Yep.
But there are big projects on the roster. So if you're picking up projects,
You pick. Well, I mean, whatever you think you get done, that's realistic. So yeah. So growth is the theme you're going to pick. You're saying, pick growth, and then what can you get done? And yeah, it's what do you want to hold yourself accountable to, and the rest of the stuff goes in the parking lot. It's what's the most important projects that need to get done that you know you can handle. That's like hard but attainable. You know, I don't know. Like I think one.
really long. So
Yeah. Yeah, you got to work within the constraints of what you're working with. Understood. Well, let's. Yeah, like again, I get culturally it's different because it's not, but there's still some people should be able to be held accountable, and they can't work for us if they don't. And so how do we with those constraints, knowing that there's like the for-profit thing is a little bit different, it's still people management and project management, and that's the way I see it. So I get that it's a little different, but people are people and projects are projects. Okay, cool. You guys good? Okay, give it a shot.
By the way, it's great.
Oh, thank you. I like Monday.com. Monday, I like, Asana's good. Monday boards are good. We use Monday. I like Monday.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
So everyone's on 13, and then these are really the milestones or steps for the one initiative, right?
Well, the initiative should have sub-projects. So growth has like 4 projects we're doing, and then there's steps under the project. Okay, hey guys, everyone's attention. Sorry. Okay, if you go to, hey everyone, please, go to page, I don't think I have this in my deck. Page 13, go to page 13. I need to clarify one thing. I need everyone's attention. Everyone, your attention, please, please, please. Let me clarify one thing for you. If you go to page 13, you're going to see it says initiative at the top. Theme initiative, what does it say? Let me see it. Sorry. I'm struggling here. All right, initiative. That's your theme. Excuse me. Sorry. So the initiative. So let's say your initiative 1 will be growth or theme, growth, right? Below that will be like a project. So let's say your project's like increase sales by 20% this quarter. Below that's going to be, well, what are you doing to make that happen? Hire 10 salespeople by this date. This person owns it. What's the next thing we're going to do? And that's all under project 1, right? Add 2 new prospecting sources. By this date, this person owns it. So it's step by step what we're doing. Then we go next project. Next project is that we want to, so project 1 is grow by 20%. Project 2 for growth might be roll out Salesforce CRM, right? Because we're managing this, or train team on CRM because we're managing to. What steps are you going to do? That goes under there. So it's the initiative. The initiative is growth. The project is high level project, and then what are the steps you're taking with due dates and accountability? Make sense? All right. Spell it out. And you don't have to get super, super granular. It's like mid-level granular. Sorry about that. Yeah, I normally teach this over like 4 hours.
I know, it's like so good.
I was like, this is experimentation. I'm like, this is a 4-hour like training. Just this one. It's a 3-day training. Yeah, I'm like, I guess I could train it. It's literally this part's a 4-hour training. Because it's like it's a lot. It's a lot.
No, this is like the. I get shit done.
Yeah, totally.
Swear to God.
Exactly. All about accountability. Okay, you got 15 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get done by 11:30. No way. Oh, okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to poke holes in everything.
We're a little fuzzy.
Here.
Yeah. Somebody who might be able to help us out.
All right, so just pick one of your themes. Growth.
Sales execution.
That's not specific. What does that even mean?
So we have to put the specific what we're
What's the
gonna do.
project? Yes. Well, that might be the project name,
Okay.
right? And then I want to know what's happening to make that happen.
Exactly.
And those are like the 4 or 5 or 6 steps or whatever, like items that are going to happen to make for that project.
Increase your TOTs.
But the word increase is not specific. It would be like increase by X. I want specifics.
Really specific.
And the team has to be like, yeah, we're going to do that. You know? And then it's like, okay, well, break down the steps on it.
Well, so like, here's like one thing we see is if we have our salespeople right selling in liquor stores. I was in a liquor store this weekend. We go in there, they have a whole section of like 12 packs. Not a single one of our 12 packs is in there. Like over in the corner, somewhere over there, right?
Right.
So it's like kind of, we'll get the beer in, kind of like sloppy or lack of accountability for sales guys. So that's like one example of sales execution.
Right. So what would be the thing? So what do you want to fix? That's sales execution. So mine would be like how would you? That's kind of almost quality of service too. So it's like, okay, how do I manage them? What do you want to do to change that? You tell me. Give me an example.
So.
Right. So do you have it already created? The Mirshahzadeh?
Yes, we do. Okay.
Okay. And but it's not so.
It's not implemented.
But so it'd be like implement, standardize, and then it's how are you going to? We are going to audit. We are going to bring it up in the weekly huddle, daily huddle. We are going to audit's the way you're going to do it, right? You're going to have someone go audit stores. So that would roll up the store audit process, right? Is that growth? That's really more operational excellence from my standpoint. But if it increases, I get it. It increases sales. But you have to audit. Like when I look at that, I'm like, I don't know any other way of fixing that. But so if you have it, but you're not doing it, then there's a broken part of the process, or you need to audit. So training is going to be part of it. We need to train the team. We need to audit the stores, and we need to measure for change. So those are your 3 things. Who's doing it? Specifically what they're doing. When's the due date? Who owns it? Okay. That would be an example of one project. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
But I want the dates, and I want to hold them real dates, like not like the end of the quarter, because that's what everyone does.
All right. Even though we're signing up, who's not here?
Well, it might take till the end. If it really takes till the end of the well, hold on. But that might be one of those steps. Hire the person too. So that's one of your steps in that process. Hire a person. That might be the only thing you've done this quarter. If it takes 3 months to find that person, maybe it's hire and train your team. Probably those are the 2 things you're going to do. That's what I would do. You're welcome. Right. So the initiative. So the initiative is going to be like training, right? Well, yeah. You pick a theme. So pick one theme, and then what's the project? Pilot training program.
Pilot training.
So then, what are the steps you need that you? No. This is a different project.
Okay. All right.
Pilot training program is one project. And then what are the steps? And then if you want to do more than that for training, then you might do a new project. If it's multiple people involved, yeah. Does that make sense? Cool. I realize I'm like, this is a little complex to teach like this. So, yeah.
I mean, again, most most of the people that are clients already know.
Okay. Cool. Yes. So the
So I think these 4 things are initiatives.
So,
and then each
well, hold on.
thing has a project.
well, what are you trying to do? But that
Start in ops, start in manufacturing. Those are sort of part of the process.
you're going to want to break that down. Like that's very vague, right? It's going to be like, I want by this date, I want ops on this date. That's one box, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of distracts from the topic. You know, casual, like drop them in over there. Yeah, video services, media services. Here's priority here. Here's the school.
Due by X date. Who owns it? Take data and assess for 5 key KPIs due on this date, right? So now we're going to have our steps of what does that look like as a finished product for the quarter. Does that make sense? All right, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Again, project and then steps on the project that level up to the big initiative and theme. We're going to get specific. Oh, we have 5 minutes? I think I said 10 more minutes. Oh, okay. Are we kicked out of this room at a certain time? Oh, shit, okay. All right, I got to move fast. All right, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes. Five minutes. If you have questions, raise your hands. We have 5 minutes, and then we're moving on. Four minutes, 4 minutes. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Again, we're looking for the specifics that we need to accomplish under each project to make our initiative get done.
So I'm new COO.
Okay.
Really what I see is we're not ready to scale. 15 million now, we want to grow to 100 million in 5 years. We don't know what we need to add to scale. So to me, we've got to get baseline metrics, which we're working on. We've been developing baseline metrics for both manufacturing, distribution centers that we have, our R&D, engineering, customer tech support. A project is operational capacity metrics.
Okay.
Where I have certain leaders.
Yep.
For that's our SMT, this is production, distribution center, so on.
Yep.
So work with them to find dates that they can.
Yeah.
Their sort of 5 key metrics. That's my
That would be project KPI.
Yeah, and I'm confident we can get that done in a quarter.
Yeah, that's a big lift.
It's a big lift, but I think it's challenging. We can get that.
Totally.
And then when we look at acquisition opportunity,
totally.
Is it a DC? Is it a manufacturing? How many people?
Yeah, you're thinking of this the right way. It's perfect. All right. 2 minutes, and then we're going to get wrapped up here. Hey.
Ryan Kennedy.
Ryan, nice to meet you.
COO of cybersecurity startup. This Harvard, I used to work for Kaplan at the Balanced Scorecard Collaborative.
Oh, really?
And Palladium, yeah. I did all the strategy map stuff.
Cool.
That's what we did for a living. I love all the stuff. All that's amazing. Question: all those stats from each year, 90% of companies start to share. Those things have been out there for years.
Yeah. I think some of them, I think they're worse. I think they're worse.
Yeah.
Because of remote
I
work.
still use it, and people ask me, like, what nothing's going to be
Yeah, I think it's worse.
It's kind of an old adage at this point.
Yeah. I just was like, I was, all right, so. Yeah, I don't know the most current. I pulled that data like in the last 18 months. And that's all I could find.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it must be what's, yeah, it must be relevant. You know, I mean, like, anecdotally, when I do the best practices, no one raises their hands. And I'm like, all right, well, that kind of supports that. Yeah. Gallup is the best one at updating their data, but the data's been fairly consistent. It's gotten worse during COVID. All right, 1 minute. 1 minute. I realize I should have had a sample of it.
I know.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, because when I do it live, I always have a sample, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, if somebody wants to come up who feels like they got it.
Hey, Michael.
No, don't call me.
Yeah. And even if you. I screwed up because I realized my workbook has it in it, but the deck doesn't. Right? No, it is. It's a hyperlink. This is like. It's all right. I could show it. I mean, I could. Yeah, I'll talk them through it. All right. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. It's time. All right, everybody. Pens down. Eyes up. Mouths closed. Come on, everybody. Let's do this. Time, everybody. Time. Hey, Cheryl Beth, I'm gonna make an offer to the group just because I realized I told you guys early on this is you guys are my guinea pigs. This is the first time doing it in this setting. Normally I do this. This training is like a 4-hour training, and we do it, and I've done it over Zoom. So I will offer this to Cheryl Beth. I will do a deeper training on project planning where I will show you samples and examples and walk you through how to do it online for anyone that's interested, okay? Just because I think that there's a missing piece here is I did not have a sample up here, and I want to show you guys what a good one looks like. Okay? Does that sound fair? Yeah, it's really high level though. Initiative growth. Then what are the projects that need to get done, and what are the steps within the projects? Everything needs accountability. Everything needs a due date, right? An initiative is like up to 4. The 4x4 is up to 4, and then I say I don't like to see more than 4 projects, per initiative. Exactly. You better have a badass team. Yes, I agree. That's why I said I like to see 1 or 2. But every team's different. I work with organizations that have 15 executives. My team we had 15 executives by vertical in some of them. So it depends. Like it's not a one size fits all, But start small, knock it out, and then you can add. So you can do, But what I don't want is where we're going big and not doing what we're supposed to do. Like that's demoralizing when we don't hit our goals. It's demoralizing when we don't get our projects done. So I'd rather you start small, get it done, get a nice little dopamine shot, and then build on top of that. Okay? Any questions on this? Any questions? Yes, in the back. Does someone have a question? Yeah, was there a question? Is there a question in the back? Okay.
So can you explain how SMARTA ties into the actual initiative?
Yeah, well, SMART is not about the initiative itself. The initiative is so we can identify the areas of the business we want to work on. So I have you do the weaknesses and opportunities, and then you'll see that, well, this is really growth, and this is really operational excellence. They're all going to cluster around these like common areas. Now we know that, hey, one of our initiatives is we're really focused on growth this quarter. Well, what do we need to do in growth this quarter? These are these 3 or 4 projects we claim we're going to do. It should not be BAU. It should not be have a sales meeting. That should not be a project. You should be doing sales meetings once a week, right? It should be that we want to do this big thing, right? Like someone gave an example of they want to build strong operational excellence, and the way they're going to do that it was one of the members in the room here. It was by figuring out key KPI metrics of this part of their business, and there's 10 of them, and they need to get with the SMEs and have a meeting with them and figure it out and give a due date of when they're going to data mine and give them the KPIs for each parts of the business so that they can manage by number. That's one project, by the way. Yes?
So you're doing a company project, and then for each department, do they have individual projects?
Yeah, it's like, give me an example. So company might be admin, right? So let's say it's like executive level stuff that you're trying to do that's like enterprise wide, right? Well, it depends, right? Like in my business, we had an enterprise, essentially a company, we were a holding company that had 7 companies. So I would do stuff at the holding company level, and then each individual partner company would do stuff. Some stuff would carry over because we were doing, essentially corporate management for these different companies. That might just be my holding company projects. This is a big example, but it's the same thing, which admin, accounting, like it depends. You know your business. So give me a specific example and I can help you.
Yeah, so one of our big initiatives was creating a new pilot training program, right? Which would fall on one person heavily in an outside team we're bringing in. And so then inside, George was just talking about doing a new billboard campaign to basically sell more billboards, educate agencies and clients. So do we then look to each department to each create their own?
So if there's 2 initiatives, pilot program and billboards, are they part of the same thing, or is pilot program yeah, so I look at that and I'm like, but they're both learning and development. So the operational excellence is the theme. Project 1, build pilot program. What does that even mean? It means roll out LMS, train team on it, hold them accountable, that 90% of them get it done by the end of the quarter, okay? And then we have who owns it and what's the due date. That's that one project. Project 2, billboard project. So what's that?
Just educating people on educating the advertising agency on what billboards do and getting clients to understand purchasing a new billboard.
Okay, so we're training our agencies on it and selling them on it, right? So I would say, well, how many people how many agencies do we want to educate on it? Hundreds. How many specifically?
58.
Educate 58. Make list of 58. Here's who owns it. Here's the due date. Here's what we're going to assess on how much market penetration we get based off of this. How much more sales increase? Finance has to give us that number by the end of the quarter. Those are 4 things that happen for that project. So project was agency penetration of billboards. Those are the 4 steps I want to see. All that's under project 1, all the other ones under project 2. And I want specifics and due dates. So more, hundreds, 58. 57, you suck. 59, good job. That's the way I look at it. I don't want these vague numbers. Your team gets used to it because we do it. We're like, just give me more. More is 1. I want 100. I want 114.2. That's not more. That's 114.2. Any other questions? All right. Let's move on. So hey, like I said, I will do a deeper training on this for you. Okay. So, yeah. So because and Patrick is wherever you are, he's seen this. This takes quarters to get good at. Like you'll do it and then you'll look at it and you're like, this doesn't feel right. It's because it's not accountable enough. It's not specific enough. You know. All right, let's move on. All right, we're gonna move fast because we have about 30 minutes and I just wanna introduce you to these tools so you can play with them. And again, if I'm gonna do a training on this, I'll go deeper on these other tools as well. So I'll just do a training on all of them where we go deeper and we spend another maybe hour, 90 minutes, whatever works, whatever makes sense for you guys. All right, so intro to accountability. Some of the stuff I talked about, but I'm gonna go back to it. So how do we create a culture of high accountability? This is a really good example. I've been talking about this with you already. It's getting specific in our project plans. It's not letting people overcommit. It's making them figure out how to hit a due date. That is building a culture of accountability. People know when they work with me, it's like, dude, you don't miss due dates with Darius. He's not cool about that. Rolling, there's no rolling anything unless you have a really, really legit reason. And it wasn't like that when I started. Everything rolled. We were so proud about how big our list would be. So why is it important? Why? Because I want a business where people show up and get shit done. GSD. That's what I want. In my company, we had t-shirts that said GSD on them. And everyone wore them. And we stood by it. It was like what we stood for. Our mascot, by the way, was a pink unicorn. So there was pink, and purple, and white right next to it. It was like G.I. Joe is cool. GSD, get shit done. I want things to get done. I want to grow my business. I want people to show up and like that, okay? I said it earlier. Execution is a great differentiator, you know? Technology is getting more commoditized, right? Price is getting more commoditized. We can't do what we did before to succeed. Execution is what's going to make you different. Culture is what's going to make you different. Building that culture of accountability is what's going to make you different so that if everything else is commoditized. So how do we create a culture of high accountability? There's really 4 areas I believe. We're going to be focusing on right team, right seat, which is the rule of 1 org chart, and clear roles and responsibilities. But yeah, right team. Do I have the right team in place? Are they sitting in the right seat? Are their roles and responsibilities clear? Do they know what they own? And does everyone else know what they own? And then are we building rhythms and cadences around our accountability? The first one we talked about earlier today. Are we doing quarterlies? That's one rhythm. Are we meeting every 13 weeks? That's a rhythm. That's a cadence. Okay? So what is the rule of 1 org chart? For those of you guys that are interested in scaling up, this really came out of my frustration with the functional accountability chart, honestly. I was just frustrated with it. I wasn't good at filling it out. And then I read Traction, and I kind of liked his scorecard, but it was missing a bunch of stuff, and then I married the two and made it my own. So it's designed to create a few things: clarity, accountability, and strategy for filling the different roles. We want to know who's in what seat, what do they own, right? And then from a strategic standpoint, we want to know what's the performance that we want out of them. What KPIs are we managing them to, ourselves to, right? What are their strengths? Are they a fit for the organization? And then last but not least, are we prioritizing our next hires? How many CEOs do we have in the room? Raise your hand if you're a CEO. Yeah, okay, if you're a CEO, you have 3 jobs. 3 things that you own. You fucking these up, you suck, okay? Culture, you own the culture of the company. If your culture's not good, you suck, okay? You own the team. If things are not happening in your organization the way you like, your fault, okay? Culture, team, last but not least, what do you think you own? Strategy. If you're walking down the wrong way, it's your fault. You own the strategy, you own the culture, you own the team. You own that bench. Whenever I've had people on the bench where I'm like, why is that person here? I'm like, my fault. Where's my pistol at? I got to get rid of them. Like, there's a lot of pistol shooting sometimes. Anyway, you own that, right? So if you don't like the team, or if there's a hole in the team, and so that's the negative. I'm being kind of like, smarmy about it. But the reality is I'm a person that loves owning the team. I'm like out there always like looking for who I'm going to poach from my competitors. Poach so many people. I've gotten so many lawsuits for taking people's people. And it's a win when I get it. I'm like, yes, I took their best person. So happy, right? Why? Because I'm strategically always out there trying to do it, right? And I'm, how? Oh, man. I mean, I built an awesome culture, and I was always out there selling it. But I was looking. Like, the best people will never come to you, ever, because they don't need to. They know they have options, Like, they just do. I would never expect to hire someone from an inbound. It's all outbound. I'm always out there digging and looking. I mean, and I was out there hiring the best people in my industry constantly. And I mean, like, the best of the best. Like, a lot of these people came from multi-billion-dollar companies. And sometimes, I was at a size where it made sense. But yeah, I was always out there looking. I built a compelling opportunity for them. But yeah, you own it. You own the culture, the strategy, you own the team. So let's talk about this. Rule of one org chart. If you look on, I think we put an attachment in there for you guys. It should look like this. I'm just going to run through it really quick. I don't know if I have the ability. So you should all pull this up. Yeah, let me see if I could click on this link here. So look, there's a few different, there's name of the position, name of the person currently in the position, what does this role own in the company, who does this person report to? If you put two names on there, I will cut your fingers off. Well, I report to John, and I got a dotted line to Sally. No, you don't. They report to nobody, because accountability is not clear. Is it an open position? Like, just because there's not someone sitting in it doesn't mean that it's not something people are working on, right? Are they a fit for your organization? Are you actually assessing that on a regular basis? And I have 3 ways I do that. Priority to fill the role, right? We don't need to fill every role. And then I like to look at, I'm a big strengths person. I love Strength Finder. So I want to know everyone's strengths. If any of you have problems in your company, with a person, if you show me their strengths, I'll tell you why. They're working out of their strengths more than likely. There's something awry there. What's their KPIs and what do they own from a financial accountability standpoint? Everyone's showing something. This is not like, we're not just showing up for fun, right? So let me click on this, and I'll just show you the tool. Come on, baby. There we are. Oh, it's not showing on my screen. All right, so you're going to see up there. Can you guys see that? Yeah, so look. So again, you could kind of put what you want in the name of position, who owns it. Again, there might be the same person in multiple positions, right? Like, I've been the head of company marketing, sales, and controller before. Like I've sat in multiple seats at one time. So again, we're gonna want to fill this out, and if it's nobody, you put open, yes or no. Yes, it's an open position. If we want to fill it, we put a priority. That way we can get focused on what we need to focus on. You can't go look for everybody. Maybe you can't afford it, or you don't have the time for it. But bringing on a bunch of new people is not going to make your business great. You want to do it thoughtfully. I picked these 3 fits: core value fit 1 through 10, grit fit, ability fit. And 10 is the highest score possible, 1's the lowest. What does that look like? Are they a core value fit 1 through 10? If you don't score them an 8 or a 9, you got issues. They probably shouldn't be on the team, seriously. A 7 for a core value fit, it's like you're tolerating them. Grit fit, I like grit. Now, if you're not a gritty organization, which I'm doubtful of because most smaller businesses are, then you need gritty people. If I got people that aren't gritty, it's like they better be really good on core values and really good at ability. And then ability is how good are they doing their job? What's their competency? Okay? So I like to rate people on that when I'm assessing my organization, and I like to do it once a year. Now, I don't show them this. This is for me as a CEO. It's like, your grit fit's a 1, dude. Like, you're out. I'm not going to say that to somebody, right? But I want to assess my team so that, because here's the deal. You're not doing anyone any favors by keeping people in your organization that are not going to be able to grow and thrive. You're doing them a disservice. You're not helping them. You're not helping their family. You are setting them up for failure. And you owe them an opportunity to do well in their career. So if they're not going to thrive because these scores aren't where they need to be, then help them move on, okay? I like to know people's strengths. Why? Because I think everyone should know each other's strengths. And in my systems, we teach strengths. That's one of the things we do through our one-on-ones. We do it through the organization. And then everyone needs to have a KPI. I like leading and lagging. What is potentially going to create a problem, and what's the outcome? And then what's their financial accountability? So you can play with the tool. It's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions on this? Yes? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, it's a business. You might be making a business decision. I mean, read Angela Duckworth's Grit, the book. That's a pretty good. She has an assessment in there that you can give people. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you define it to be, because they're going to be reporting in your business, right? So, is there going to be trade-offs? Are you going to make business decisions when interest rates stay at this level and unemployment goes to 7%? Will people be more gritty? Probably. You know. You know. Like, yeah, you got to define it for yourself, because for you, like. Yeah, I think that's value fit though, what we're talking about here, and versus like, and some of it is just logistics, right? Like I had a business partner that was like in Long Island, New York, that wanted people driving through the snow to come to work, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why would we even do that, right? Because he thought people slacked off at home. You know, he loved when COVID happened. And now he seriously made people come back in the office, like one of the earliest in out of any company I knew, because it was just a thing with him. Yeah, look, 3.5% unemployment doesn't help. So, you know, I'm looking forward to 5.5. So I just think it'll make this problem go away. It's happening. Mark my words. All right. Yeah, we're going to 5.5. All right. So this is a great tool. I like this tool for just kind of assessing the overall organization and of what do we want. Okay. I told Cheryl about that I was going to show you guys 2 tools. The second tool is 5-question pulse survey. So again, we worked on the big part today, which is our strategic plan. Like you got some ideas on how to build one that's maybe a little out of the box. Maybe it's reinforcing some of the stuff you have already learned. It's about building a good plan. Then we want to build a culture of accountability. Well, I have a bunch of stuff on that, but I'm just showing you one tool, which is people at least got to know who owns what in the organization for us to hold them accountable to it. Okay. And then last but not least is performance, right? When you have a great strategy and know where you're going, and then you have this amazing culture of accountability, what comes out of that? Anybody? Data. I get information. And my whole thing is, if scale is a friction removal process, I don't want to be reactive to data. I want to be proactive with my data. I want the data to show me signals, and then I go and make tweaks. And again, talking about Shibuya, there's complexity and simplicity. I want things to be easy. If it's not easy, your team won't do it. So everything I talk about is stuff that's easy to implement, that gives me the right amount of data so I can go make decisions with it to do what? Optimize my business. Because if I know where I'm going, I have a good strategy, and I have a good team, and there's a culture of accountability, and I'm getting data, and I grab that data, and then I can optimize, what am I doing? I'm creating a virtuous cycle. The business will always give me data. I need to be looking for the right data. So one piece of that, I talk about 3. One is 5-question pulse survey, which is my easiest thing to do. I have a methodology for KPIs I use, which is I try to make it simple. And then last but not least is your financials. Like, those tell the story of the business. We're going to be talking about 5-question pulse survey though. So, Darius, why is 5 questions? Because I know you'll do it if it's only 5. And forget about you. I know your team will do it. And I know your clients will do it. We're going to talk about how do I think about this 5-question pulse survey. And really what's happening is I'm looking at it from 2 standpoints. And I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again. Your internal customer's experience is a reflection of your external customer's experience. I want to measure both. I want to know how's the team feel internally, how's the team feel externally. I want to grab that data, and I want to make decisions with it. Oh, that's not me. I blame the computer for that one. Oh, there we are. All right, let's go back. Thank you for that. All right, so how do you start the 5-question pulse survey? There's 2 parts, so external and internal. Externally, I'm just a fan of NPS. I like NPS. I hate when NPS is surveyed digitally. I only will allow for that in my organizations when I know they won't answer any other way. If you're B2B and you're not dealing with like bond traders or something, which I happen to in my last business, you should pick up the phone and talk to your clients, okay? We used to NPS, we were B2B. I had 7 different business channels. Some of them we did digitally because bond traders don't want to talk to you. They would fire me as a service provider for them. So that was the only exception. Everyone else, yeah. Net Promoter Score. So Net Promoter Score, Bain's tool, it's a very popular tool. I like the tool because you can start to see how you compare against others, right? But I like to ask the question, and I like to pick up the phone. Now, every business is different. I would rather do it too much and back off than do it not enough and not get enough the right data. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. I'm kind of going in now, but there's asynchronous and synchronous communication, okay? I will do asynchronous, which is me talk to you, you don't talk back. Synchronous is back and forth. For clients, I want as much synchronous as I possibly can get. And it's a part-time gig. Like, I can have an admin make X number of calls and talk to the clients and ask them questions. It takes them 5 minutes, okay? And I want that NPS data, right? So they're asking them 2 questions, right? So for those of you guys that don't know NPS, let me find it here. What's coming on? So NPS, you can look it up. I'm not going to teach you what NPS is right now, but essentially it's a promoter scores you a 9 or a 10, a detractor scores you 1 through 6, and a passive scores you 7 or 8. And you ask them 2 questions. So we pick up the phone, and here's a cheat sheet. Hi, I'm calling on behalf of the office of Darius Mirshahzadeh, CEO of my old company, The Money Source. They always are calling on my behalf, because I'm the one that wants to know. Okay? Clients will talk to you when they hear that. I'm calling on behalf of the office of the CEO, the president, COO, pick a really high title. Okay? And then we say 2 questions. Question 1, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest recommendation possible, 10 being the highest recommendation possible, would you recommend our services to a friend or colleague? Next question, why'd you give us that score? And then I take that data, and I do it consistently, and I aggregate it. Now, I might ask other questions too, if you want, but I would limit it. Just get those 2 if you can. I might say, what can we do better next time to score 10, stuff like that. But I want that data, right? And I want it in real time. I don't need to look 90 days later when my clients left and wonder why they left. I need to know the minute they're pissed, especially if it's recurring revenue, it's B2B. B2C, there's other tools. You guys might use Birdeye, or you might use some of these other B2C tools for online. It's a little bit different with that. And I used all of them. But those, when I'm especially with really valuable relationships, I'm on the phone. Recurring revenue, I'm on the phone. If you don't have that, you maybe can go down the other road. But how many of you guys here have B2B or recurring revenue or deep relationship with your clients? Okay, yeah, on the phone.
And can you speak to not-for-profits?
Non-for-profits are probably going to be donors, right? People, support things they help build. So, with nonprofits, you're probably surveying your donors to see how they feel about your organization. You might be surveying the client depending on what it is. It's, every nonprofit's different. So let's say you're helping, some higher risk group or something. I might survey them to see how they feel the experiences with your organization. Why? Because if they don't feel like it's good, then your donor might get pissed and be like, why am I giving you money? So it's all the same to me. It's just like different. It's just a different result we're trying to create. But we're, yeah, because yeah. Right, exactly. That's the part of the problem. So that's them not having an EQ about you. Have EQ, people. So like, I'm going to assess like, hey, my client doesn't want it this way. I will do asynchronous. And what's going to happen? 13.7% will respond, 84% won't, right? 86% won't, right? So you get what you can get. Take what you can get, okay? But I'm going to tell you, I would not walk into it being like, well, nobody wants to hear from us, so we're not going to interview anybody, and we're just going to fly blind, and hopefully people like our product. That's bad news, okay? So I don't want that either. There's this spectrum, find your sweet spot. Like I said, we were calling our bond traders up. These are people selling us billions of dollars of loans, and they're like, if you call me again, I'm not sending you a fucking loan, right? And I was like, don't call that guy again. And then we went to monthly, and they're like, quit calling us so much. And then we went to quarterly email. And it was fine. I didn't get great data from them, but it was as good as I could get. So that's how I think about it. Yes?
In the first, we bring on a new client, in our first interaction with them, which is in person or on the phone, we ask them, what's the cadence for you?
Yeah.
Like, how do you like
That's great.
What's the frequency?
That's great. Yeah, here, that's a great idea.
I was just saying how,
There you go.
When we bring on a new client, we ask them in the beginning, the first initial conversation, what's the cadence that you like to be communicated with? So is it, do you like to talk in person? Do you want us to stop by? How frequent? And that's been really successful for our client success team.
Yeah, I love that. I should have done that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like in some cases, I could have done that, right, when we're onboarding clients. Right? So when you onboard clients, it's a way to do it. But anyway, the point is be thoughtful. So externally, when you have the opportunity, pick up the phone, because then you can really get some real information. And the second thing with that is I would send that NPS daily to my team. Daily, they'd see it. So we had a portion of our business which was B2B mortgage brokers. I had 1,000 mortgage brokers that sent us loans. Mortgage brokers are the most promiscuous clients you've ever seen. What do I mean by that? I mean the minute you piss them off on a deal, they cut you off. So they'll send me 1,000 deals, and on 1,001 I piss them off, they turn me off. They stop sending me deals. So every deal we'd NPS them on it. And they were cool with it. They wanted to talk to us. And I would NPS 80% of my clients per month. We would fund, 1,000 loans a month in that channel. 800 of them would get a phone call. It was 1,000 clients, probably 700 of them would with some reoccurring. We were talking to 500, 600 clients a month. And I had a person that was their job. And then I bonused my team on it. Or remove their, I'm good. Or I'd remove their bonus. The bonus went both ways. If they were below 70 NPS, no bonus. 70 NPS is high, by the way, for those of you that know NPS. NPS is the highest score possible is 100%. Lowest score possible is negative 100%. 0% is all 8s. So 70% is mostly 9s and 10s. But my point was I wanted people to care about what I cared about. Because the minute the client's pissed, and the biggest thing I got from this was proactive data. I'd see when stuff broke in real time. My team would see when stuff broke in real time. I didn't have to wait. Okay. Internally, your internal customer is your team. I asked them 3 questions, okay? And I gave you guys a couple. I think there's a link in here. There's a question bank. You guys should have a question bank in here. But the big questions I asked, I really asked them 3 questions. My biggest question I asked my team, and you can pick if you want to do it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I was doing it weekly and pulled it back down to like bi-weekly because I saw the response rates drop. How are you feeling? Question mark. How are you feeling? That was my first question I would always ask. Simple question. How are you feeling? Why? I had 1,000 employees. I don't even know 90% of their names. But I would see if they were saying, great, 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 great. And I would sort it by department. And I'd see, oh, that department's a bunch of okays. Something's going on there, right? First question, how are you feeling? Let me see. Go through some of the questions with you. Excuse me. And I gave you guys all the questions. So how are you feeling? What's the morale you see around you? I asked that every other week with my entire team. And we'd break it down, and I would just go through it. Second one was, what do you need help with this week, this month? And they would have an opportunity to speak up. I want my team to speak up a lot. I want them to know that this is an opportunity for them to speak up. Now, this is asynchronous. Why? Because in one-on-ones is where we have synchronous. And the last but not least, if you've rolled out your core values effectively, I did, which core value did you see someone live this week? Can you tell us the detailed story behind how they lived the core value? I would take those, and I would send them out to the whole team. And that's how I teach people how to learn their core values, because they have to actually use them every other week. And it's really easy if I talk about Megan and say, Megan lived the core value of X. I have to think about, well, what are our core values? And how did she live it? You're forcing your team to learn it in a way that's productive because they are giving each other credit. And credit begets more credit. If I give you, you will reciprocate with me. You'll be like, oh, Darius is really cool. I want to give him credit for this thing next week. And it became a thing. And this is one of the keys of teaching core values. So I use it as a tool to kind of temperature check the team, to see what they need help with so I can make sure their managers are getting what they need, or to see if there's a theme of issues. And then last but not least, I use it as a means to teach core values. All right, any questions on this? Yes? Oh, yeah, I put up here, there's, again, depends on the size of the organization. I like to automate it. We use 15.5. There's Culture Amp, Culture IQ. There's a bunch now. I mean, we were using our HRIS to do it because I didn't want to pay for another system for people not to log into. Yeah, like, beware of that. The nerds in Silicon Valley don't realize that you don't want to log into 8 systems. So, yeah, it just depends. Like Culture 15.5, the manager has to respond to them through it. I would extract data out of it and just look at the reports. But there was a point where I was like when we had 100 employees, I would respond to everybody on it. Just depends on it's different depending on the size. If you're really small, it's like less important, right? Like right now I have a team of 5 people. It's like, yeah, I don't need to pull surveys. I have a meeting with them and we talk all the time, right? But as we grow, I would definitely need it because I'm not as attached to what's going on. All right, any other questions on that? The key is this though, automation, cadence, rhythm. I want to make it a thing and it's fast and easy. Yes? So I do something you can kind of choose. So I don't have it as part of this, but there's like a next level, which is a quarterly, like I call it the full body scan, which is fully anonymous. So in the bi-weekly 5 questions, no, I don't make it anonymous. And I have a bunch of other questions. You can mix, I gave you as all my questions, there's 34 of them that we used. They're in the question bank. You can kind of mix and match. How are you feeling though? I always keep, what do you need help with? And then core values, and then maybe I'll add a 4th one if I want, or I'll flip out one of the other ones, change it up. Variety is the spice of life. We want people to keep engagement, so I might flip them out, pull one back, but I'm always changing up. Core value one always stays though.
I think that's really important.
You have to change it up. You have to change it up. Anonymous it depends. Maybe you go 1 week anonymous, 2 weeks later non-anonymous, so you can kind of see if they're lying to you or not. The team will tell you, like, it's just human nature. Hey, boss, you suck. They don't do that. Most don't. Some do. So yeah, I always said, as much as I hate hearing I suck, I still want people to tell me I suck when I suck. Right? So at least I can fix it.
Other clarifying questions or something that would help give you a little bit more clarity?
Yeah, I used to tell my business partners, because my business partners hated it. They were like these autocrats. They're like, oh, they're just going to complain. I'm like, listen, man, they're complaining either way. You just don't know about it. Like, you want to be reactive or proactive? I want to be proactive. I want to get ahead of it. Why? Scale is a friction removal process. Complaints are friction. I want to remove it. And what really happens is people, they don't understand a process, there's a lack of communication around something that's pissed them off, or you have some toxic ass manager that needs cut that you don't know about. I mean, I saw some people that I'm like, wow, they are really good at playing the part. And then I find out through all my surveying and stuff that they're doing crazy shit to my team. Humans are weird. All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. Let's see. I like this quote. So, look, I know I gave you guys a lot of stuff. You got to keep it simple. But I'm going to read this quote because I really think it nails the way to make this stuff come to life. Our life is frittered away by details. Simplify, simplify, simplify. I say, let your affairs be as 2 or 3 and not 100 or 1,000. Instead of 1,000,000, count half a dozen and keep your accounts on your thumbnail. You got to make this easy. You got to simplify it. If it's hard, your team won't do it, and you won't want to do it. You're going to get frustrated. So you got to make it easy, and it's really about focusing on the right stuff at the right time, and then building that muscle memory, building those cadences, building those rhythms, and over time you can start to layer on top of it. And as you do that, you start to build really a frictionless machine in your company. and of your company. All right, so a couple takeaways. Does your team know where you're trying to go and how are you managing them to that outcome? So it's a question to ask yourself. Does your team know where you're going? How are you managing them to that outcome of where you're trying to go? Do you truly have a culture of accountability? Just it's an easy yes or no. Are your performance management systems proactively eliminating friction in your organization? And this is, I like to throw this at people, because if they say yes, yes, yes to all that, then I go, okay, what happened if I added a zero? A zero to your revenue or a zero to your headcount? Would shit start to break? If you're at 20 and now you're at 200, does it still work? And if the answer is yes, then you're perfect, like this table. No, but seriously, add a zero. I always say add a zero. Let's see. You're at 10 million, does it work at 100? You're at 1, does it work at 10? And what I find is that a lot of these systems don't grow as you grow. So I like to kind of make it easy, and that's where I'm coming from. Anyway, with that said, man, this is such a pleasure doing this with you guys. I hope I didn't bore you. There's my information. Feel free anyone can reach out to me. I kind of have a training on this my whole system, so you can happy to check it out. It's a 30-minute training. There's my email. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. I will schedule with you to do a deeper dive on some of these tools. With that said, thank you guys.
Can we give them a hand? Can you hear me now? All right, good. I will be sending out information to you all over the next few days. We've got a bit of a busy week. Please, 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 if you're taking pictures, if you're posting on LinkedIn, please tag us on LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn, go to YouTube and follow us. We have tried to be as open source as possible, and that way I am trying to follow a little bit in Vern Harnish's footsteps, even though that got him into a little trouble. To have resources available online. The information that Darius is talking about, you can read a little bit about his story, his partnership story with Ali at our blog site, as well as his core value equation webinar is also available on CEO Think Tank's website. And if you, for some reason, don't hear from me, just reach out, like ceothinktank.com. There's a contact form, and I can get you the information that was promised. Sounds good? All right, thank you. Thank you again, all of you, for coming today. If you are interested in joining our community, please reach out to me and schedule time to chat, to meet. We are happy to entertain any enlightened leader who wants to grow. My group, we are downstairs for lunch. My roundtable group, we are downstairs for lunch at 12:30.